Hey Eve, how's it going? We're gonna get it started. Just gonna play some music and stuff to get, before we get going. Just let everyone load in. How are you, by the way?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Oh yes, Mr. Jean-Claude. Doing great, doing great, doing great. Yeah, thank you guys for all attending and being a part of this, because what this is about is really about the community coming together. So what I'm trying to open up is a platform, right? A platform that we could all benefit from. We could all get out there to people, and there's not many. There are some platforms that are out there, but we need more, and this is something that I know with having professionals being able to have an outlet to express themselves and get the information that they have, and channel through the people. That's the ultimate goal for all of us. Goal of service. So
Love
you know
that.
what? No, thank you guys so much. God bless you. Appreciate you. And yeah, I look forward to having a proper event. Um, let's see. Eve is here with us. Eve, are you unmuted?
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, guys. I'm just gonna be right back,
Yeah.
okay? It's 2 seconds.
Yeah. Right now, people are coming in. People are coming in. So, like we'll wait for
How is
people.
my lighting? Should I have better lighting or it's good? Because I have the projector over there.
Yeah, you look beautiful, man. You look
Thank you.
beautiful. For sure. Yeah, man. Yeah, you already know. Look forward to sparking it up. I love your energy, like from right when you approach, it's like, oh, this guy has some serious energy. So that definitely speaks volumes. So
Thank you,
appreciate.
brother. I appreciate that. For the other events, do you want me to also to be the marketing speaker so I can lock it in because I need ideas.
Yeah, like that's like I just told you. So this platform is for people. It's for the community. It's for experts. It's for people like yourself. So yeah, definitely this is the first of many. We're going to be working with each other for sure, right? And it's all about who wants to be involved. You know what I mean? And on top of that, I'm grateful. Even I seen you posting a video of it, and all that stuff matters. Because if we can grow the community and we have a platform where we have, many people on. It's just a matter of, any idea you just put out there. Like a bunch of people could be loving that idea, that opportunity, that thing, and maybe that's that silver lining that they needed. So yeah, man, of course, definitely looking forward to you being a part of, which like we're planning to do this monthly, right? And yeah, like we're down for it to grow. Honestly, to be real with you, um even though the 3 hours, some people are like, oh, 3 hours, but we want it to be longer. We want these sessions to go like, when we're running them, for it to even run for, the whole day. But obviously that comes with interest, right? And I'll give Eve, she actually sparked that because when I brought it to her, she's like, oh, we should do an in-person one, and I'm like, yeah, for sure, definitely in person. I'm definitely on board with that, but it's about, yeah, let's build the community. So as we do this in person, it's even more impactful. So that definitely that's the key. And you guys gracefully accepting to talk to the people on this first session is great. And I'm definitely grateful for it.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man, for
I'm
sure.
gonna. I'll come back in a second.
Yeah. Well, we'll get started. Like around this, yeah. Like pretty much, we're getting started right now as people are joining us. So thank you for everyone who's joining us. I see Greg Beechler. Greg, how's it going? Nicole Farah, thank you so much for joining us. Greg and Nicole, you could say hi. You just want to hear your voice. That's not just a bot. You know what? We don't want bots.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Excited about the event. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. And you guys are part of this, and this is something that we're looking to do monthly session. And for new information, like even if you have something that you want to offer, to the community, we have a speakers forum, right? And we'll be sending that as well. For speakers that are interested in sharing their knowledge, sharing, the information that, has been sent to them, so, and yeah, we have more. I like people are rolling in, so that's blessed. And today's session, it's invest for cash flow. It's how is the real estate market? It's marketing. It's even things that you haven't even thought about are going to be sent out, in today's session. So just stay tuned, for us to load in. Right. If anything, let us know, where you're coming from, whether you want to type it or even if you want to say it, just so, we know who's in the house.
Woodstock, Ontario, Richard.
Okay. Welcome. I'm based out of Brampton, Ontario. Welcome all guests. Everyone, let us know where you're from, who you are, where you're from. Thank you for everyone joining us. Steve, Roseman, Nina, just unmute, say hi. Let us know that you're the real deal. The real deal is here. Yes. Thank you everyone for joining. All right. Okay. Yes, people are coming in, so that's amazing. Yeah, let us know where you're from. Steve, type it in. Let us know where you're from. Sonny, where are you from? Who are you? I know we have a lot of professionals in here as well. Whether entrepreneurial, business owners, we have realtors, we have mortgage brokers, we have insurance brokers, we have people in all different industry, marketing experts. We have, there's entrepreneurs, investors. We have a lot of investors, that are with us today or are joining us today, and welcome everyone. And please just post where you're from. Let us know where you're from and who you are, where you're from. Just let's see the text. Okay, hello Scotia. Thank you, Steve, for writing in there. We want participation. So. If you're in here, okay, sunny Edmonton, Alberta, yes. Hello, Nina, Toronto, Canada. I see someone from Brampton. I'm gonna get a little hype. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna get a little hype. So, but we're over here, all over Canada, and hey, why not worldwide, right? Eve's gonna talk about that. He's gonna go in on that. But yeah, we gotta be thinking on a global scale, right? So hello, Nina. More people are joining us. Welcome. Okay, yes, please type in the box, type in the chat box. Let us know where you're from. We see Clay. Clay, talk to us, man. How are you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing?
Doing great. He's representing with the cowboy hat from Texas. Yeah. That's amazing. Raquel, hey, Raquel is here. Join us, Raquel. She's a realtor extraordinaire, digital franchise owner. Raquel, you talk to us. Say hi.
Hi, Richard. How are you? So excited to be on and learn from all of the other superstars on the call.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. And I definitely as well appreciate everyone for just locking in this time to tune in with us. And hey, we all have that 24 hours, what we allocate it to, it means a lot. So, thank you for joining us. I see more people actually joining in right now. Hanif, I see Onaiwu, and I hope I said that correct. You can unmute yourself, you could say hi, or you could even write in the text box there, let us know, say hi. If you could even just say hi, but let's see.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. You tried pronouncing the name. That's correct. Onaiwu is the correct name.
Yes, hi. Nice. Yeah. Hi, Onaiwu.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
All right, that's amazing. All right, we have more people that are here. We're gonna for a good 5 minutes, I want to at least like let people log in. And hey, if you have any investors or business owners or realtors or mortgage brokers or anyone that's looking to to grow our minds, because that's what it's about. We're building a network where everyone's like-minded, and we're connecting on these Zooms so we can help each other grow. Yes, more people joining us. Thank you so much. Please state where you're from, who you are. Come on, put it in the text box, or you can unmute yourself real quick and just say hi. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Hello?
Oh, are you talking to me?
I'm talking. Yes. Who's talking? I'm talking to you. Whoever's talking, yes, I'm talking to you.
Oh, hi. My name's Arlen. I'm from Oakville, Ontario.
Okay, nice. Arlen, thank you for joining us. And what do you do?
So I work part-time at the hospital as a nurse, and then I'm also a financial advisor as well in the financial industry.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. And we see more people are coming in. I see Corey Miller. Corey, yes, Corey, say hi to us, man. You can unmute yourself. You could, or text to the box and say hi to us.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Corey Miller. Hope everyone is doing well. Excited for this meeting. Investing is something that I'm very interested in. So I'm glad that Richard brought this to the forefront. He's always doing things that are cutting edge and where we should be looking forward to growing in our business and independently. So I'm looking forward to this very much. Yes. So.
Appreciate you, brother. Corey's from Brampton. Hey, Brampton. My peoples, yeah. The show grew up together and doing amazing things. Always building businesses, and right now has a social media platform where he's going and building businesses on that platform. So yes, we have amazing people that are in the house today, and that's amazing. Shervin, I don't think you said hi yet. How's it going? How are you? You can text us, or you could unmute yourself and say hi.
Hi everyone. I don't know if you guys can hear me well, but glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Right. Thank you for being here, man. We appreciate you, and we appreciate, everyone that's coming on. Again, like I said, if you have people that are like-minded, that are on the same vibration that we're on, invite them. Hey, say, hey, come tune into the Zoom. Come tune into the Zoom, invest for cash flow, right? Like in terms of information, I'm excited about the information that's going to be shared today, because, I got to meet the individuals that are speaking, and they all inspired me. Definitely it's like, okay, we need a platform. We need to get this stuff out here, right? And that's what this is about, invest for cash flow. And then, yeah, we have the segment, how's the real estate market, and that one, I will definitely want everyone to, unmute themselves, or, just raise their hand during that session, because, we want to get everyone's perspective, on the current real estate market, because regardless of what you do, what business or whatever you're in, real estate is always something that you have no choice but to be a part of, So, definitely taking all the information there, right? And to start off, okay, we have more people coming in. Thank you so much. But yeah, just to start, I want to really go in on what I'm about in terms of Richard Addo-Kessie, or introduce myself. Right. And I am a realtor. I'm also, and most importantly, God's servant. I'm here to do God's work, and be able to be, whatever direction is being sent is what I'm trying to deliver, you know, and it's creating platforms, you know, for opportunity for growth, you know, and, you know, just provide opportunity for people. So one thing that I'm really focused on is mindset, you know, and mindset, you know, is something that I have a, even like it's accountability program. It's called the MAPBOOK, right? The Mind Assistance Program. All right. It's on my screen. Let me know if you can see it. But this book is a book that's 365 days, so it's 40 a year, right? And it's an accountability program, right? Where accountability meets personal development, right? And that's to pave the way for your extraordinary journey toward success, right? So this MAPBOOK program, it's infused with universal laws and principles, right? And it's a 365-day program. When you enroll in a program, you have 30 days to plug in, meaning that you read the book. It takes 5 minutes to read, right? You read through the book, and everything in the book is written by you, all right? So it's your intentions that you're transferring into this book, right? First, you have the big vision, which is the affirmatory declaration. That's the goal. That's the vision board, and you're writing it, you know, and then from there, we go to the year, the month, the week, you know, and the date. And then we have something called Focus 11, where you focus on 11 aspects of your life, all right? But, you know, that's something that I have going on. You could go on the website, mapbookprogram.ca, if you're interested, right? And there's a free 30-minute mind map consultation, you know, so pretty much, you know, we're just going to talk it out and just see where your mind's at, you know, and yeah, like, you know, if it's something that, you know, aligns with you, all right? So, you know, that's mapbookprogram.ca. Mylene, if you don't mind, just posting that in the chat there so people can get that. Anyone, if you're interested in having a sit down and you want to go in deep on your mind, right? And you want to hold yourself accountable, then join our group. We have a WhatsApp group, right? And on our WhatsApp group, every day we post MAPBOOK read, means that you read your MAPBOOK, you know, your intentions are clear, you know, you set the day how you want to set it, right? And then, yeah, 30 days, you know, you have to plug in. If not, then, you know, you remove from the WhatsApp group. So it's real big on accountability. So, you know, just putting that out there. Of course, we're going to set this off right, okay? And we're going to get into our first speaker, right? And we're going to go into speaker mode, right? And our first speaker was, you know, I met at the multifamily conference, right? And at the multifamily conference, he was, you know, he came, like, he just had an energy. Like, I'm like, yo, who is this guy? You know, and then he tells me his name's John Claude. I'm like, what do you mean, John Claude Van Damme? You know, like, yo, this guy is serious. And the kind of knowledge he'll spit in, I'm like, okay, you know, okay, this guy's serious. This guy's the real deal. You know, so I definitely want to, you know, open up the floor to Mr. John Claude. John Claude, thank you for being with us.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I feel so special for being on this call, honestly. And I'd like to take a second to commend each one of you for attending this call. I'm sure all of you had a long day. It's a Monday. I'm sure you had a great day too. It's the summer. I hope it was great. But after a long day of work, you still wanted to commit and show up to this call to learn. You just wanted to come today and learn. So this proves to me that you're 1%. And I'm so grateful to be in this room with you because I know I'm becoming a 1% having a conversation with you today. I was asked to be here today to give you some marketing secrets. I've been doing marketing for many years, and I run my own 6 businesses, and I do all the marketing from my own businesses. 20 minutes will be a little bit short for me to give you too many secrets or a complete idea of everything that I can help you with, but I can promise you one thing, that you will leave today with so much advice and with no pitch. And I'm not going to sell you anything, just stay with me till the end because I'm going to give you some advice from the heart. All right? I'm not going to take too much time yapping, so let's get started. I didn't also make you a slideshow because I just prefer to talk me and you. Now, I will assume I looked at everyone over here and I was looking you up mostly. I saw that you're all active on social media. Not everyone has perfect content. Not everyone is too active. So I'll assume that you're meeting me halfway. I'm not starting from the very beginning. And I'll start with a little story. I was coming back from a trip from Dubai with my friend Mark. Mark is a real estate investor. And he's like, JC, I asked my virtual assistant to build me a marketing plan because I decided to be active on social media. I'm building a couple of buildings and I want to raise some money and I just want to earn credibility because this is the reason of social media and why everyone wants to be on social media. All right. And then I'm like, okay, so what is she building? He's like, yeah, she's doing this, 4 or 5 posts a week, talk about this, graphic design. And I didn't want to get into like what's her qualifications and blah, blah, blah with him. But I asked him one question, and I asked that to every person who tries to work with us in marketing. Why? Why do you want to be on social media? Why do you want to post? Why do you want to build a marketing plan? Why do you want to be consistent? Why do you want to go viral? What is it that you're trying to get? And he couldn't answer. What's your message? What is it exactly that you're going to say? Because if you don't know, social media works with algorithms, and to be able to engage high and earn so much engagement on social media, you need to catch the algorithm. And to catch the algorithm, you need to have clear messaging. Like, who is your target audience? Who am I talking to? What am I doing? And forget going viral. If I follow you as your friend and I don't understand what's your messaging, I'm not finishing or reading any post you post or a video you post. And this is very common. Look now into your following section. You have like maybe 2,000 followers and only 20 views or 100 views or 200 views on your videos. This is a big gap, very big gap. Why it's a big gap? Because there is a question mark behind your content. So when you decide you want to be active on social media, you need to answer 2 questions. So I want you to write these questions down. First question is why. Second question is who. Why you only should have one answer. And the answer is want to give. If your answer starts with I want to collect, I want to get, I want to have, I want to earn, I want to own, you are doing it wrong, my friend. Social media viewers like us, because we consume content too, every time we swipe, we ask ourselves, what's in it for me? Is it gonna make me laugh? Is it gonna teach me something? Is it gonna entertain me? If it's not gonna do neither, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm gonna move on very fast. So your answer to why should never be, I wanna get something. Because to get something, you have to end up having a CTA and asking them to buy, follow, share, get my ebook. We've all seen these ads, and 90% of the times we did not engage. So why do you think if you do it, someone is going to engage with you? So that's why you shouldn't just change your post, you should change your mentality about your content. So your mentality should be every day, I'm going to fucking wake up and give something to this world. I'm going to make them laugh. I'm going to give them advice. I'm going to share with them something that I know and help me. I'm going to share with them a story that might teach them a lesson, entertain them at the same time, like Mark's story. It's a hilarious story for me. I don't know if you laughed a little bit about it. I can't see all of your faces. So this is the first question. Don't even think that you will succeed on social media organically if you're not there just to help. Unless you have $100,000 budget to spend on ads, help. Give them advice. Give them entertainment. Give them fun. I'm not asking you to wear a cheerleading costume and start jumping. All right, you can tell a story. This is entertaining. And the story can teach a lesson at the same time. Like if you're a real estate agent, you can't just tell them about this walkthrough that you had last week. You can tell them about the first showing that you ever done. Every real estate agent who've been in the market for 5 years can write down 100 stories that happened to them, and they can tell these stories. I guarantee you, if you post these 100 stories and just telling these stories genuinely, you are going to get amazing results. Let's move on to the next question. And the question is who? Who am I? Who am I? If someone picks up the phone and watch very quickly 10 of my videos, what would they say about me? What do you want them to say about you? If you don't have an identity, no one is gonna follow you. No one's gonna engage with you. I mean, they ask you for an ID everywhere you go. You need a driver's license when you're driving. You need an identity for everything in life, not just for social media. But how many times we open some of these people's social media and I just don't get what the fuck they want from me. Because one day they're posting about traveling, one day they're giving me political advice, one day they're doing this, one day they're doing, there's no identity. I cannot name them. I can't say this is Jean-Claude the bam bam bam. So you need to write down, I am Jean-Claude the funny marketer. By example, I am Jean-Claude the honest marketer. I am Jean-Claude the bold marketer. I am Jean-Claude the entrepreneur. This is not enough. What's the character behind entrepreneur? I am Jean-Claude the old entrepreneur. What is it? And this goes back to, your life, social life. You ask your friends, what would they say about you? What would they tell everyone about you? This will help you find, I am the blah, blah, blah. I read a book, it's called Drive. And this book teaches you to be able to have a very high drive and high motivation, you need to find, I am the what? Because this is your title and you want to live up to it. I am the bold marketer who wants to help everyone. This is my the. If someone asks me on Instagram for marketing advice, I never tell them, pay me for a consultation. I never tell them, come by the office so I can pitch them something. Just send a voice message and give them the advice. If a friend calls me and tells me, oh, I'm struggling with this, what do you think I should do? I don't say book a call with me. So that's why I don't do it, because this is my, this is my who. Okay, so you need to figure out what's your why and what's your who. After you figure out what's your why and what's your who, it's gonna get so easy. You just have to avoid a couple things. And the couple things are you writing them down? Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Don't sell. Don't pitch. Don't be shy. Don't lie. Don't take. Don't ask. Don't overthink. And done better than perfect. I'll start from done better than perfect. Because I have clients, I know the struggle. And I know myself. I film a video and I start watching the video. Oh shit, I wish my nose was smaller. Oh shit, I wish I said this differently. Dude, you don't say that in real life. When you have a conversation with a friend, you can't press reply. Why do you want to press reply on social media? Because you want to be perfect, because you're afraid of losing, because you are greedy and you're trying to earn something. And again, this is not going to work. You have to be there, you have to sound genuine, and you have to only give. You have to teach, you have to help, you have to make an impact. So when you film a video, promise me something. If it's okay, post it. It's gonna get you results. People will feel more comfortable starting a conversation with you if you're not perfect. If the video is done by high-end cameras and everything is just up-notch, this is like advertising. Everyone will think this is a Pepsi or Coca-Cola advertising, whatever video. If it's so genuine and you're like, your hair is messy, your beard is whatever, and your shirt, there's like maybe something here on your shirt. This is so okay. This is okay. And you have to be yourself. Very authentic. I know people, they change their accent. They change their voice. They change the way they speak. Like I watched some of their videos and in person, they're completely different. So you think if you get a lead and they jump on a call with you and they find out that you have two personalities, they would be closing a deal with you? No, they won't. Now you tell me, JC, I'm not God. Why would I want to spend all this time, invest money, hire editors, whatever, and all I want to do is give? Well, first, because there's no failure in giving. Second, you won't be able to attract and seduce business if you are chasing. So here's what you do. I'm sure some of you have a cat or know someone who has a cat. You push the cat away, what does the cat do? Comes back. You push it again, it comes back, wants more attention. So when you're giving, you're pushing people. You're not chasing them. You're like, hey, I'll give you the advice, leave me alone. I don't want your money. And then they come back for more advice. Then they come back for more advice, and now they trust you. You build the credibility. And after this, they would want to work with you. If you are in the service business or product business or any business, people want to work with whoever they trust. How many times you walked up to a store and negotiated the shit out of this person, and you walked to another store and you were ready to overpay? The place where you overpaid, they did not chase you. You chased them. So you have to pick. Do I want to be a chaser forever? I want to start seducing. And the best way to seduce, and trust me, it works in everything, not just in business, you have to give, and you shouldn't expect return. Now, I know who am I. I know why I need to be there. I know what to avoid. And I know what to say because I know who am I. Just like I want to help and I'm a marketer. I want to give marketing advice. Now, where do I post it? I hear this concern and this question every day. I get questions from my clients, from people who want to work with us, or from people that follows me. They DM me this question. I'm a realtor. What do you think? Where do you think I should post? I'm an X. Where do you think I should post? I would tell you to follow the 360 marketing strategy. What is the 360 marketing strategy? Everywhere your client turns, they have to see you. Everywhere. Your prospect, they're not your clients yet. So you have to surround them. You have to corner them with your kindness and with your greatness. But now, maybe you don't have so much time. So you should be minimum on 3 platforms. And the 3 platforms should definitely start with Instagram and Facebook. These 2 platforms are working for everything right now. We run ads. We've been doing this for so many years. And I'm telling you, Meta is killing it and will always kill it. All right. Now, the 3rd platform, if you're going to the minimum is 3 platforms. I'm not saying it's the maximum, but you shouldn't be on 1 platform or 2 platforms only. Minimum, you have to commit to 3. The 3rd, this is up to you. You look at your competitors. Where do they exist the most? Are you in the educational business? Are you into the entertainment business? Are you in the investing business? Like, by example, if you're raising millions of dollars, I wouldn't say be on TikTok, right? Because if I'm on TikTok 5 hours a day, I'm probably the L word, which is loser, right? 5 hours a day, I'm just consuming, right? I've been advised to be polite on this call, so I'm trying to skip so many keywords I really want to use. So if you're going to hire and if you're struggling with building a team, I would say LinkedIn is a great option. If you're a marketer who wants clients and just giving random advice and wants to work with someone, I wouldn't say be on LinkedIn. I'll tell you why. Even if you give so many advice and tell stories, LinkedIn people are like fed up with someone trying to DM them and make money out of them. Right? But if you're there to recruit, you have profiles. You have people's like information since they graduated. So you could pick your prospects easily. If you're there to teach something in the educational business, I would highly advise you to be active on YouTube, because every time I want to figure out something, I want to go to YouTube. I was coming from Toronto the other day.
I think he's going so. What is he saying right now? What is he saying right now? You know?
Jean-Claude, where'd you go? Come back. We need more.
I know.
We'll give you the F-word pass. Let's go, come back.
Yeah, I know. After he said that to me, he said, and he didn't get advice. He's making it up. And there was no restrictions. There was no restrictions. He could have came up with anything, but I guess he's just calming it down. But he'll be back. But yeah, so far, let us know what How you guys liking the session so far? You know, let us know. Let us know. Sure, looks like you want to unmute yourself. How you guys liking the session so far? How you guys liking the session so far? We'll give him a minute to come back through. I know he's probably just rebooting his computer or something like that. But okay, we're seeing some text here. Okay, very good, super valuable, love it. I hope there will be more. Amazing, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for your participation.
Hello,
in the
guys.
session.
My bad. We got a big thunder here, and I don't know what happened to the Wi-Fi. Or maybe this is God telling me to lower my voice, and I'm lying too much.
No, I was telling them you didn't get no restrictions. No one gave you restrictions. Let's go, man. Everyone's fired up, man.
All
Got
right.
some great comments over here. Keep going.
How long do I have, man? I just want to know how much should I yap?
You got 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes is good. All right, awesome. Listen, for everyone who still have questions, or I'll finish this 5 minutes. If you still have more questions, I'm going to drop in the chat the link for you to book a 30 minutes call with me. Only 30 minutes. I'm not doing it 35. All right. And I promise you on the call, I'm not going to pitch you. I'm not going to sell you. We're very busy. Thank God we're making good money. So I feel so good every time I answer someone's question and I make an impact on someone's life. So don't be shy and don't be afraid. Click on the link, book a call with me. I'll make sure to show up and I'll make sure to add some value. Just organize your questions and come to me with questions. I'll be happy to help. Now, let's get back to this. So give. Why, who, don't sell, don't pitch, don't lie, don't overthink it, and done better than perfect. 360 marketing degree strategy. You have to be at least on 3 platforms. I am personally on 5 platforms. People complain about it that they see me everywhere. They're like, I hear your annoying voice everywhere. I see you every morning I wake up. And trust me, some of them, they actually complain. If you follow me, you know what I'm talking about. Now, how am I supposed to work so much, take care of my family, take care of my kids, and pick up the phone, film myself, write the caption, post it on 5 platforms every single day? This is hard. Well, you don't have to do it every day. Everyone tells you have to be consistent. The more you post, the better. No. You have to be consistent, but consistency is not volume, it's not quantity. Consistency is, and careful with this one, is having your followers to expect you at a certain time and certain day every week. Consistency is all of JC's followers, they know that JC is going to post at 7 p.m. on the dot 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. My followers personally, they expect from me a video every day at 7 p.m. And this is non-negotiable, and this is scheduled. This is a great thing when you convert your account to business, you can schedule your post ahead. So you don't need to drop everything, no matter what emergency you have, just to post at 7 p.m. But it's crucial that you post at the same time, at the same day, every week. So if you decide on posting only 3 times a week, why not? Make it 3 times a week. But please, make it and schedule it ahead of time. Now, I want to be very active, JC, and I want to do it. I want to do it all by myself. Editing videos is not my thing. I'm dyslexic. I'm talking about me, by the way. I'm dyslexic. I hate editing videos. I hate being behind the computer. I'm really like not a tech guy. I just like to be in the camera, yap, and I want my content to be ready at the end of the day. So what is my secret? How do I do it? How do I post twice a day? I pay someone $4 an hour to do it for me. That's what I do. And I'm sure we all can afford that. There's many websites where you can hire video editors to do it for you. And they will do it on a $4 an hour, I promise you. I have 25 editors that works for me to serve me and my clients. If you want me to teach you how to hire them, I'm happy to tell you how. It's a little bit of a longer process, but I'm not going to get to it right now. But if you want me to help you with this, I can send you a voice message. Follow me on Instagram. I'll just DM it to you. Or like book a call with me. I'm happy to help you do it. I would highly advise you not to do this boring stuff so you don't give up. Because if you're doing something that is annoying, you'll give up. For me, like I will get so motivated to do something, I'll start doing it. Once I realize it's so much pain in the ass, I'll be like, fuck this shit. I'm going back to door knocking. right? So select what is it that you don't like about what you're doing on social media. Is it writing the caption? ChatGPT. Buy the premium package and you can create a report with ChatGPT and it will become a memory. And you can tell ChatGPT everything about yourself, about your goals on social media, and then ChatGPT will give you very personalized captions. No, it's not gonna sound like a robot because it's the premium package and you have created a memory. If you don't know how to do this, also we can discuss it after. Now, my 5 minutes is over. There's so much to talk about. I really wanted today to talk to you, tell you about there's a program with the government right now that you can pay to get educated in marketing. So you can buy a marketing course and the government, if you're located in Ontario, I have to specify this, the government is going to refund you 83% of this course. And you buy this course for you and your team. So also, if you want to know more about this course, we can talk about it on the call. It's too much yapping. I'm not going to get into it right now. I'm thirsty as hell. So I'm over time right now. Thank you all, honestly, for being on this call. When I saw all this amount of people that joined, it made my heart so warm that you guys are showing up to learn. And I hope one day I'll be able to learn something from you. Richard, thank you so much, man.
Yes. Thank you, brother. John, Claude, Nasser, thank you so much, man. That was amazing, man. You gave it all up, man. You gave everything that you could give within that time frame, you know. And
I'm sweating, dude.
yeah, man. No, that's amazing. We have your link that's here as well. You know, anyone that wants to just sit down with him and just connect with him and let him, like you open up. You never know, what things that you may not have known that hey, he may just open that door for you. Right. And, that's what we're really looking to do here. We want to open up the minds, unlock the minds so that we can, all really prosper in, whatever avenue it is that we're actually going into. Yeah, John Clyde, you're staying with us, right? You're going to make sure you stay with us for the whole
I'll stay as long as I can. And
okay,
the link is
sure,
dropped in the message right now, okay? If you want to
of course. You don't have to fully be unmuted, but tune in to the session for as long as you can. Nancy said so good. I wish 20 minutes was longer. Trust me, yeah, man, for sure. So, hopefully everyone's feeling that session. And right now, I really want to get into everyone that's on this session because this is the part of the segment where we really want to go into how is the real estate market, right? That's something that's a question that everyone is asking all the time. How is the real estate market? Right. So we invited professionals, in the industries, investors, real estate agents, mortgage brokers, to join us in this discussion. Right. And we want this discussion something that will continue. Right. Because obviously the data, the information, everything what's going on, is always updating. Right. It's always being updated. So before we fully just go into the session, I just want to kind of show these stats. Right. So these stats right here, are TREB stats, so Toronto Real Estate Board, if you're in the Toronto Real Estate Board. So these are just these are general stats. We see in terms of sales, there was 8,826 sales so far this year, which is a decrease of 18.8%. Right. We have more listings that are coming onto market. We have about right now 25,000 listings that have came onto the market, which is increase of 7%, right? The average price of a home sold has gone down 2.3%, right? Dollar volume has decreased 17.7%, right? Leased homes have actually increased, right? 16.7%, right? And then the average one bedroom shows 3.8 increase, on that. Right. So, these are general stats of the Toronto Real Estate Board. I feel in the GTA. So I feel it's good stats to kind of look at, analyze for a second. And then if we could, really open this up, anyone has anything to say, you could either you could raise your hand, you could unmute yourself, you could, we just want to kind of open ourselves up. Like we've seen those numbers that are there, why are those numbers the numbers that we're seeing, and at the same time, what is the opportunity right now? Like, how is the real estate market going? Right? If you're in it, if you're investing, if you're buying, if you're an agent, if you're doing trade in it, please open up. Let us know from your perspective. Do we have any hands that wants to contribute to this session? Okay, I see Kishore, you have your hand up, but here, you go ahead, take the floor, take the floor. You're muted, you're muted.
There we go.
Yes,
can you hear
yes. Me? Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah. Sure, please introduce yourself, who you are, and then give some insight.
Yeah, my name is Kishore. I'm a mortgage advisor, operate from Mississauga. Been in mortgage for 10 years. Was a financial advisor before. And I have a question for Mr. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Jean, can you hear me?
Oh,
I can hear you. I can see you.
Beautiful.
Jean-Claude Van Damme in your service.
Go ahead.
Fantastic. Jean, you said you have 5 or 6 companies. What are they? Can you tell me what you do?
That's the favorite.
Other than the marketing.
That's the favorite thing I do. Trust me. Every time I'm in the bar, someone asks me, "What do you do?" I love it. So, Revelation Marketing is a marketing agency. Revelation Studio is a photography and videography company. We do weddings, events, commercials, social media content, everything you can think of. I own an Ottawa podcast studio. This is a podcast studio rental. Like if you want to start your own podcast, you can jump in and do your own podcast in our facility. It's like the gym. Instead of building your own gym, you just show up with your guest and you leave with the footage. We take care of the rest.
It's like a studio.
I own something called, sorry?
It's like a studio.
We have a studio fully equipped, but we also have a production manager. So you don't need to set up the light, test the microphones, everything we take care of, and we give you the footage at the end of the session. All right. We have something called Selfie Room. Selfie Room is a fully automated studio. So instead of paying so much money to get your headshots done or a photo shoot session done, we have a system and we give you a microphone, remote control, and you take your own pictures with the remote control. I am the co-founder of something called Juice Dudes. We have 2 locations. The 3rd is coming up in October. This is a very successful business. 5 years in a row, best smoothie in Ottawa, and we're expanding to Toronto and other places as well. And last but not least, Revelation Marcademy. So I just started the Marketing Academy. I built a course for entrepreneurs only. If you go out there and want to learn marketing, all these marketing courses are customized for marketers, right? Or they're telling you some useless information. For me, I collected all of the questions that I got from my clients in the last 7 years and all of the struggles, and I put them in the course. And every business owner, they need to go through this course. Why? Because the marketing is the only thing that you cannot fully delegate to someone. You need to understand it, or you will be screwed over again and again and again. So this is my last company that the educational company.
Okay. Your juice company, you're saying you're looking to expand in Toronto?
Correct.
That would be your first in Toronto?
We don't have any yet, but yes, we are looking forward to start our first 2. So I'm hoping to start 2 in the same time.
Okay, so 2 brand new first right on the ground.
Correct.
Okay. Are you franchising it, or what model is?
Yes, we are. So Juice Dudes is a business that I started with my brother, but then I had to step away to start my own other agencies. Now I'm the marketing director and I own one of the locations as a franchisee. Right? So I'm a franchisee in a business that I was the founder. I named it. I created it, right? So in Toronto, I will be a franchisee, and we have other franchisees as well.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that. Maybe we can connect after.
Yeah, I dropped my link in the chat. You click on the link and we book a call. We promise each other that we're not going to sell each other anything, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what this session is about. I love how Connect just happened. But during the session, we want to get into the real estate market as well. Kishore, you said you're a mortgage broker, right? So, how's the real estate market?
Well, real estate market is, if you can qualify your people, you can do transaction. Qualifying is the $1 million question, right? With can you afford the interest rate? Do you have the income? And is the transaction, does that make sense? So obviously there's 2 types of clients. One is an investor, one is one who's going to live in it. So ones who live in it, obviously they don't look for ROI, they're looking for some sort of bargain to get in. And if they qualify with their income, TDS, GDS below 40, then I mean, you can go in it and close that. But it is getting tough. Many applications are getting rejected, and as the interest rate is the highest, historical proportion right now, pretty much. But there are applications that go through with a decent income, decent credit score, and there are many who are over leveraged. It's difficult to qualify them. So they may have to deleverage. They may have to look at alternative ways to get financing. Otherwise, deleverage and then keep what you need and deleverage the rest to cut down debt so you can afford the payment. Real estate market here in Toronto, I can't speak for the rest of Canada, but here in Toronto, it's a bit slow, but transactions are happening, here and there for the people that do qualify.
You're saying the people that do qualify. So what are the files that you're getting of the people who are qualifying?
So right now, I mean, to afford an average home, you're looking at 1.2 million, right? You're not going to get nothing below that unless it's a condominium. So you probably need about 250 family income, just a little bit, maybe higher, and then you should be able to qualify. And yeah. Okay. It's tough. It's case by case, right? You can't. It's not a something that's across the board, right? Every bank is very tough right now, scrutinizing every deal. They're looking at looking things under microscope, and then they approve your deal. If it doesn't, then you have option. Obviously, go to B lenders and whatnot, or other places like credit unions. Other than that. If it doesn't make sense, if it gets too expensive, then you have to back off and you have to look for something small.
So of the applications that you have coming in, like what would you say percentage wise that's getting approved?
30% straight off the bat.
Okay.
Yeah. So we vet the application before we even put it together, because otherwise just be waste of time, because you're spending hours, a lot of hours, and you're not going to get paid for it. Because you're commission based, right? Everything. Like a real estate transaction, unless you close and you're realtor, then only he gets paid, right? Otherwise
it's transactional. It's transactional.
It's very transactional. Very transactional.
Right. So that's why we're having this session, right? Invest for cash flow. So how are you diversifying? How are you supplementing some of the income that obviously and anyone in this industry that can say that last year, or the year, even the year before, the income was higher than it is this year. And it's not even really by fault. It's just that's what the market is, right? So how are you supplementing right now based on that?
Alternative things. If your income that you were generating in real estate during COVID, a little bit after COVID, and since then the interest rate has done 3x, you've gone from 2.5 points. 2.5% to literally 7.5 in many cases. I see that's even with the primary bank. So your income is just evaporated, the cash flow that you were getting monthly. So then in many cases you have to look at alternative income, your investments in mutual funds, your investments in stocks, bonds, whatever, whatever your thing is. I myself, do a lot of out of the box strategies for passive income. Our friends, some of them on the call here, are familiar with that as we're connected, particularly Sherman, Puya, and Eve. They know me. So yeah, we do a number of things in terms of brainstorming, applying strategies, vetting the deals, research to the core. So those strategies are a true and tried, tested method, and then we expose those strategies to our people that are close to us. The game is to create passive income, of course, right? Yeah. So that helps if you've done that.
Yeah, of course. No, I appreciate that's what this session is, right? And I thank you for launching in terms of the discussion, right? And being a mortgage broker, you fit right in terms of housing, real estate market. You give a real good, broad scope of what's going on. Anyone here can add to that? I know we have many other people that are in real estate or own real estate or professional in real estate. please, if you don't mind, put your hand up, or just even unmute yourself, and just let us know from your perspective, how's the real estate market?
Yeah, I can say that for myself, I have buyers
So,
that
I'm
are.
sorry, first, please introduce yourself and who you are, what you do, and then go take the floor.
Hi, everyone. My name is Raquel Zanardo. I'm a realtor and also I own a digital franchise business. And with regard to real estate, I'm seeing that I do have buyers that are interested and they're out and they're shopping, but there's still, a difference between what the seller's expectations are and what the buyers are willing to pay. So the gap is still too large, and deals are not getting done because the seller's expectations are so high and the buyers are not willing to come up to those numbers. We're also seeing a lot of deals falling through on financing. People are putting in offers and then they're not getting the financing from the bank and the deals are falling through, but the sellers still have these crazy expectations. So there's a lot of rejigging. I'm sure, Richard, you see this as well. A lot of, strategy where people are taking it off the market and relisting at a lower price. It's not selling, holding offers again at another price. So I'm seeing that happen, 3, 4, even 5 times on a whole bunch of listings. So it's really just kind of a shit show right now, but it is what it is, right? This is the name of the game.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I see a lot more attractive things that are coming out. But Raquel, if you don't mind, you right now as well, you're saying that, so how are you diversifying? This is Invest for Cashflow. So same kind of question I asked Kishore, because, we want to open that up. Yes, we want to know how the real estate market's going, but at the same time, okay, how can we get more real estate? What are the different ways that we can start building up? Just like Kishore was talking about all these different investments that he has going on. So, that's what the floor is here for people to take away, right?
Yeah, so I've been a realtor for almost 9 years, and I also have an Airbnb in Muskoka, and then I've started a digital franchise a few months ago, and I'm doing quite well with that, and that's giving me cash flow consistently every single month because, as people know, in real estate sales or mortgage, you could have a great month and then nothing the next month, and then a fantastic 3 months and then nothing for another month. So it's very inconsistent. Not to mention that with real estate, there's so many things beyond our control, interest rates, economy, all that kind of stuff. But with my other business, the digital franchise business, I don't have those other things beyond my control to worry about. So that's what's really exciting for me. And I feel like I have like a new lease on life because it's with products in a business that pretty much the entire population needs. And that's why I'm able to scale and grow so quickly. And I've realized such great success in such a short period of time.
Yes, that's amazing. And Raquel actually introduced that to me. I'm also a partner, a digital franchise partner. And I believe Nancy's talking about that in just now. Nancy, we're staying to, I guess it's the warm up. It's the warm up for Nancy, to go in on that. I see Stefania Diaz. Stefania, I don't know if you introduced yourself, but if you don't mind, like, how's the real estate market? I don't know your experience, but from whatever perspective, right? So.
So my name is Stefania. Hello, everybody. I am not a real estate agent, but I was raised by one. So I do have a soft spot for real estate agents. My father's been in the industry for over 20 years. Now I'm just starting to get interested in real estate. So I have my first rental property, which is exciting. We're discussing real estate. We are realizing that it's becoming a buyer's market. And I talk about it with my father, but maybe other real estates on the calls. Something that I actually am having questions about or very curious about is what influences the buyer's market versus the seller's market. Because a few years ago, right after COVID, it seemed like houses were selling like hot bread. Like everyone, it was very much a seller's market. So right now there's more competition. And why are houses staying, or why is real estate, or why are houses not selling as quickly as they used to, and what influences that? Maybe Raquel, you can help us weigh in.
Sorry, what was your question, Stefania, about?
Yeah, so what influences a buyer's market, what influences a seller's market? And right now we're seeing that houses are kind of on the market for longer than usual, or they're not selling as quickly as they used to. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, so it's interesting because, for example, I had a client that I was speaking with earlier, and they were trying to buy kind of a cottage property in Bowmanville, and they wanted to offer, the bank told them they could offer 700 without a finance condition. They have to have an inspection. And I called the agent and I said, would you accept this number? And he's like, nope, I will only accept, at least 740, like no more than that. But we're so close, but he was so stuck on that number, I think also because he purchased the property at the end of last year. So he's going to be losing money because he has to pay realtor fees and, all these other fees that he has to pay because he hasn't held the property for, over a year. So there's just a disparity between the sellers and the buyers. And I don't know when we're going to kind of come to an agreement, but there's such a big range there right now. And I don't know, like, Richard, how are we going to fix that?
That's why we're here collectively. This is a collective consciousness that's going on, and that's why I love these sessions, because with these sessions, that's where we're going to get the answers. Like, for questions like these being asked, and for everyone collectively to be on a platform, and whatever comes to mind for them to express that, so that we can get somewhat answers in terms of what's going on. We also have Clay Schlinke that's going to be on here talking about United States, investing in the United States, right? So there's all different aspects, and that's pretty much what we just want to know. Want to open our minds up as to what is it that's out there, that we could go and pay attention to. Yes, thank you so much, Stefania. I appreciate you for participating in the session. And does anyone else want to just give us their input? Like, how's the real estate market? I see people that are on here, and we invited professionals, so I know other professionals are here in the session. If you don't mind, just you could either raise your hand or unmute yourself, right? Oh, I see Kathy the Chico. Kathy the Chico is here on as well. I know as a real estate broker as well. Kathy, if you don't mind saying hi. Okay, we have more people tuning in too. That's amazing. More people coming on.
Richard, what do you think though? Like, what are you seeing? Because you're quite active.
Yeah, what I'm seeing is what you're seeing. I definitely see there are people right now. I would say more listings are coming. Just like what we had sorry, Kishore was saying earlier in terms of people letting go of certain properties, right? That's one thing that I'm seeing right now, where people are letting go of certain properties just so they may be over leveraged, right? So I do see more listings coming on the market, so that is reflective of that stat. We're seeing more listings on the market, right? We've seen that, right on that same stat that I showed earlier, which shows 25,000 listings, which is 7% higher than last year, right? I do see that number continue to go up. And definitely is a buyer's market. If you and even some of the sellers are just getting some money together so that they can go and offload it into a next property or a next opportunity right now. So that's what I'm seeing right now. I definitely am seeing more listings coming onto the market. So and buyers have options. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm also seeing, because I talk to a lot of agents every day, and what's happening is because things are not selling fast, a lot of realtors are having issues with cash flow because it's not like this, how it used to be, list, sell, money comes in, list, sell, close. Now it's like you're listing and it's on the market for a long period of time, especially those properties, over 2.5 million. So that creates a huge cash flow issue. And then the realtors are there, maybe by the end of the year, they're going to close off with a bigger number, but getting through the year is a challenge because of the money coming in. And that's where I think you have to be able to pivot and have an open mind to explore other opportunities to provide you with that cash flow, or else you're going to have your, what in between your hands with, no money coming in. Right. So.
Yeah, I want to show this right here. This is another stat that we have here on the market, right? So we see, the timeline over here. So it kind of shows like the sales that's been going on, right? Obviously June 2021, we know was going on at that time, you know, a nice high peak, you know, and then after, you know, they came down a bit, but then they shot back up in March 2022, right? And then after from there, it's kind of, you know, down, right? And this right here is December 2022 and January 2023. It seems like that was at a low, but then it peaked back up, you know, in May, right? And then we see here in December of 2023, it was at a low. That was recent, so I do remember that time when it seemed like there wasn't anything happening, but then it picked up. You know, over here, this April, May, and June has taken a little bit of a dip, you know, in terms of sales that's been going on. Kathy has her hand up. You know, Kathy, let me just stop sharing here and give you the floor, Kathy. Thank you.
You want the camera? Yeah, you can. Hello?
Yeah, Kathy, we
Can
hear
you. Hear me?
Yeah, can we see you? Can we see you?
I'm gonna try. Hold on.
Oh, you entered the waiting room. Oh, I think you're on 2 different devices or something like that.
I don't think we can get the camera working.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
There we go. Sorry, we're just driving back from Fort Erie. You got back here. So yeah, I'm Kathy DeChico. I've been in real estate for just over 6 years. Yeah, the market right now is definitely slow. I think that buyers are just very picky and they're not in a rush. So, which is not, you know, I mean, I don't think it's a really horrible market for, you know, the kind of million-ish product that's out there. But definitely there's, you know, agents are out for blood. When you have a listing, they're definitely like, they're really, really like out for blood, like they want deals. And so the buyers that are out there qualify, that their agents have actually done like a good qualified, you know, if your product stands out, then, you know, you will be able to move it. And I find that we just have to really like push hard and work hard and just make sure that, you know, we're doing our homework and we're making sure that our product stands out from, you know, any other product that's out there, you know, and within the same market. So.
Okay, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that perspective. You know, and we want to hear from you know, homeowners. If you own property, or if you're an investor and you have some investor properties, you know, are you holding on to them? Are you offloading some of them? Like, you know, what's going on? Okay, sure. Sorry, I see your hand in your camera. That's why I don't have all the screens on there. But there's actually a command in here. No, I don't know where it is, but you can raise your hand. But there's somewhere in there, and it actually just pops up on the screen. But I see you now. Go ahead. The floor is yours. Kathy, thank you so much for, you know, your contribution. Go ahead. Sure.
I want you to pull that chart up that you just had, the sales numbers.
Yeah.
And I want to point something out, if you can refine it more. So if you look at this chart is what are these medium homes? Are these luxury homes?
So this is a general perspective. So it's not even targeted in. Do you want to go to medium homes?
Yes, because this chart is actually skewed data. This is not accurate data.
Okay, so you want to go to detached homes?
Yeah, detach, maybe make a range of $1 million. Because what happens is you have doctors, you have lawyers, you have high income earners that make, you know, $250,000 to $500,000 a year in income, and all of a sudden they can end up skewing this data, and some of these spikes, these drastic spikes you see, if you separate the data, then you'll get a better understanding. Otherwise, this chart means nothing. I mean, look at the wild swings in there, right? So for an average person who's not a doctor, who's not a lawyer, who's not making $250,000, this chart means nothing to you. Once you pull the $1 million, when you know,
okay,
let's say a range is.
This is $1 million up. So you're saying go below $1 million?
Yeah, go below $1 million, 800 to $1 million, maybe. Okay. Yeah. And then the chart should.
Yeah, you're right. So that was lined up. That was lined up with the general chart.
Yeah, as soon as I looked at it, I noticed that.
Okay.
The other thing is, you know, a piece of advice for realtors. You see, at the back end, we're putting the deals together, right? You may try to make an offer for your client, whatnot, but at the back end, we have to put the application together and see if we could get you some dollars to close that transaction, right? So if the client is not pressing you for, I need to buy now, I need to buy yesterday, blah blah blah, you're in many cases you're better off to hold off a little bit before you put them in a transaction. I understand you need to put the food on the table. Understand you need to get that commission check. But if you had a fantastic buy for that client will remember you lifelong. And if you waited, even though you could have closed that deal, if you could have, put them in a little bit of pressure and say, close this, it's a good value, this, that. But say 6 months later, the valuation comes down about 10%, 5%, and they could have saved $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. And you made them wait, even though the client was willing to buy. But you said, as a good realtor, you said, hold off. If you don't need it now, just hold off a little bit. And then if you do that, what happens is they got that instant buying gratification with probably a below appraisal value going forward, just for waiting 6-8 months. And I do expect market to soften up a bit as we go forward, because all of these variable mortgage applications or the people that were in the variable mortgages in the last 3-4 years, they are coming due. And as they come due, many of them will not be able to finance those properties, especially if they have number of properties under their name. So they will have to let go. I'm seeing that already. So you, in your street, if you have 2 houses for sale, you will have 4 houses for sale in the next 3 to 6 months. Rest assured. So now your client has more choices. You can compete more. You can, put up one owner against the other, say, hey, he's giving me the appliances versus you're not giving me the appliances, or this upgrade, that upgrade. Your clients want that, because that justifies you as their agent looking out for their value, right? So when you buy right into the value, that client is a lifelong client. They will stay with you. Otherwise, real estate is just a transaction, right? So do keep that in mind. If you want a loyal client, get them a value. And even if you have to put up, put away the transaction for 6 months and whatnot, if they can, do it. You may not get that instant closing check, but it's okay. That client may, do a number of transactions with you in years to come. So that's an advice. Many times we're enticed because, hey, I've showed you 10 houses. You haven't selected one. I think this is fantastic. It's that thing where, I haven't made any money in this month or last 2 months. You want to close that deal. But sometimes you have to look at it from the other perspective. If your client saves $100,000 just by waiting 3 to 6 months, right? And if they were able to wait, that's money in their pocket, and then they'll remember you because you, even though you could have made a sale for that, you told them to wait. You look golden in their eyes.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. You giving that extra perspective. So how pretty much what you're saying is that the numbers are going to drop more. That's what you're saying.
Yes, and it'll make our job much easier to finance that property for your client, because now you got $60, $70, $80, $100,000 below the market value, which means it's an equity inside the house, right? So mortgage is easier to put together. They have to come up with less down payment. Okay,
so this is the chart, because you said do it under $1 million. So this is the chart under $1 million, right? You see that under $1 million GTA, detached homes, right?
Yes.
So that's what we're seeing right now. It's kind of looking.
That line at the end, that little tip downwards. That little tip downwards. I see that tip touching back at the 2023 November level, where you see that point below the low November 2023.
Going down there again.
I see that tip coming down in the next 3 months. 3 to 6 months. You'll see that back where it is. Look, every time it has touched the floor and it has gone back up. Yeah, I see that coming down.
Okay.
So that could be another $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 of discount for all your clients, for all the realtors coming now. So just you're better off to wait a little bit if they're not in a hurry.
That's a great perspective for you to give. From a realtor perspective, definitely, like you said, if their clients are in no rush, but there are some that are in a rush and they want this house. You can't really say, oh, wait, you should wait, you know? I should wait. Then just go to someone else to get the house, you know? Because
no, that's a conversation. That's a conversation you should have with your client. Listen, if you purchase today, whatnot, if it's tomorrow. See, the thing is, if it's a great buy, you get a credit. But if it's not a great buy and somehow they entered into transaction, you also get discredited for that, right? Well, my realtor could have told me to wait 30 days, 60 days. So you get the first bullet coming being fired at you, right? So that's why I added that.
That's great advice. That's great advice. And the fact that, you know, we're looking at the data and you're on that side and you're seeing what's going on, what's starting to happen, right? And I'm seeing it from my perspective as well. I'm definitely, you know, I got a listing that went up, it's going up this week, and it's a similar situation where they can't carry the house right now, right? And and so I do hear what you're saying. But that's why these sessions are important, you know, so everyone on here knows, you know, they kind of could see what's going on. And we want to do this monthly, you know, so everyone that's on, I'm really grateful for you being on the session. Kishore, thank you so much. You know, oh, we have a hand up. Whose hand up? It's Kathy. Kathy, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a question for the gentleman. Sorry, I can't see your name. The mortgage broker that we should speak. Yeah. Yeah. So you say that with such confidence that you think the market's going to come down. Is that based on like historical data, or like how can you speak with such conviction on that the market is going to soften and come down that bit more?
First thing you need to look at is the Bank of Canada, even though they're on a month-to-month trajectory, they haven't been able to reduce interest rate meaningfully, okay? Every month is just another promise. And they're totally data dependent, okay? The amount of funds they have printed during COVID, that has caused a huge spike in inflation, okay? Which is out of their control. They can't undo the printing, right?
Yeah.
You're seeing that at the gasoline price, the food price, and whatnot, right? It takes a good 3 to 5 years in order to get a proper handle on inflation if they're going to, which I don't think they will. I mean, they've been trying to, you know, tell us since March, we're going to cut next month, we're going to cut the following month. Here we are in July, middle of July. We were promising June cut as well, didn't pan out. July as well, that's not going to happen. Now the date has shifted to September. I think we'll be at the end of the year, back and forth. If you're lucky, you get 0.25%, which is not a meaningful thing that changes, that moves the needle on the Richter scale, right? It's not going to move a needle, 0.25 point. So we will be next year. Next year is going to be the interesting case because all of the things that they have done, or price control mechanisms that they've asked to food companies, to all of these companies, is it translating onto the shift in the ground, like in terms of consumers getting better deals, in terms of cost of food, cost of gas, heating your home, electricity, all of that, right? Because everything is gone up. So those are the signs. If those things ease up, then your budget permits for you to make a move, right? And I'm not seeing that. Usually it's a laggard indicator. Once you start seeing signs of softening up, it usually takes about 3 to 6 months before you actually start benefiting from that. So for me, from my assessment, this year is written off. The second half of the year, if you're lucky, you'll get 0.25 point. I don't see anything other than that happening. And the next year, the longer these houses or the seller has been put off the selling decision, he will have no choice but to sell. So he will try to reduce the price. I've seen homes reduced 4 or 5 times and still not selling, especially the periphery outside of Toronto. Now, I can't speak to the market outside of Ontario because I don't specialize. I don't know what the BC market is doing. But I would think the factors are generally the same because the interest rate applies across the board. It's across the nation. So the markets outside GTA have softened up much more than Toronto because Toronto, obviously, it's urban city. You want to live closest to your job and whatnot. So that's holding it up a bit. That's only until these applications or these mortgages come due, which were not locked in mortgages. Now, these were, people who got it at below 3%, preferred rates and whatnot. They ain't getting preferred rate. This time they go renew. The best preferred rate they're going to get is 5.5. in most cases, in 80% of the cases, unless they're doctors and lawyers and whatnot, which have a completely different program. So I don't see interest rate moving down. So only one thing can move down, and that's the price.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate your insight.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Oh, that's what I'm saying. This is what this session is about, for us all to get this information, and that's what we're here for, you know. And we're here to grow. And this is Invest for Cash Flow. So yes, all these things are happening. The prices are getting better. There's gonna be more opportunities for you to invest in real estate, in the time comes. So now it's time to load up. So I believe our next speaker is a great, nice transition, to get into this. Nancy Sharma, she's actually is a wealth advisor at TD, and now she's running a digital franchise, which I was introduced to, and it's providing great cash flow. And it's just the next source of income for people, who are, in this crunch. If you have multiple properties, of course it's going to turn around. But I hear what he was talking about when he said longer people are waiting. This is what Kershaw was saying. The longer people are waiting, they're going to be forced to sell, right? And that's because the income is staying the same, right? And like the income, most people is not growing at the rate of the expenses and all the interest rates and everything that's happening. So Nancy's with us. Nancy, thank you for joining on this session.
Thanks so much, Richard, for having me. And I love the value that everyone on this call is providing. And like John Claude said, I'm not a slide person. I just like to have a conversation with friends and share insight and information based on my experience and kind of let the conversation flow from there. So my name's Nancy Sharma, and before I get into explaining more about the digital franchise model, which is basically just another asset to consider when building your net worth that provides residual and consistent income, I want to share more about the importance of duplication and cash flow and how I came to learn about that in my own journey. So like Richard said, I worked in corporate banking for almost 15 years. My area of focus was in wealth management, advising the wealthiest Canadian families on how to invest their money, plan their estate, and optimize tax efficiency. So their typical profile was that they had their own business and they used income from their business to then buy real estate or invest in the financial markets and create leveraged income. And although I did extremely well financially in that role, I realized I was constantly starting from zero and burnt out, which I find is the case with a lot of my colleagues in the real estate or mortgage business as well, because I had no duplication in my job. I was a business of one. And in the process of chasing money, I lost my health. And so at 29 years old, I was almost 200 pounds. I was pre-diabetic. I was struggling with hormonal issues like PCOS, which is now the #1 cause of infertility in women. And I had really bad skin. And so now I'm 35 years old and I look way younger than I did in my 20s. And so what happened, I was introduced to these 2 natural products that I started taking just as a customer, and they totally transformed my health and my life. I knew I could, lose weight just by being healthy and going to the gym. But the last thing I wanted to do was get to a point in my life where I was going to be prescribed medication to deal with my prediabetes and PCOS. And so I was told, that these products could help with my health issues. And I had tried everything. Like I tried keto, I tried being vegan, I tried going vegetarian, and I tried and I failed. I tried and I failed, and I tried and I failed at almost every other solution out there. And so I ended up taking these products, and after about 3 to 6 months, my life and my health completely transformed. Not only did I lose almost 30 pounds, but I no longer suffer with PCOS or prediabetes. And the individual who actually introduced me to these products was one of my clients from wealth management. And so I was introduced to them back in 2018. They were a client of mine. And at that time, when I went through such a big transformation, they had suggested that we team up and do this business together. And I'll be honest with you guys. I was like, look, my focus is wealth management. I'm not interested in doing anything else, because the sort of school of thought that I grew up in was the same. You know, you have a job or a business that pays you money, and then you take that money and then you buy real estate. You could leverage the real estate, and you can also diversify by having investments in the stock market. And he would just always ask me, like, Nancy, how are you going to duplicate yourself, or how are you going to scale when you're doing business development and everything's all dependent on you? And so I never really listened to him or gave his advice any thought. But over the years, I tried to duplicate, I tried to scale. I went into real estate investments. I bought stuff, and I was even at the where the demand for my time was so overwhelming that I decided to actually give away half of my territory to focus on the branches that referred me the most deals. And I realized that it was next to impossible for me to scale or duplicate just on my own. And so if you really think about it, how does an individual in the real estate or the mortgage world or in banking duplicate? And you know, how do you replace yourself? If you're in a corporate job, it's pretty much next to impossible, because it's dependent on you going to work every day. And if you are in some type of sales role, it's also next to impossible, because what I learned was nobody ends up working harder than you in your own business. And so how would you even do that? Even if you got to the model where you're bringing on associates or agents underneath you and went into a broker model, once they learn from you and understand how to make six figures on their own, they end up leaving and going independent. And now you've just created your competition. And this happens all the time in wealth management, in real estate, in mortgages, in insurance. And so if you're also in a traditional business, the only way to scale is you got to be profitable and take those profits and then reinvest and build another location. But then a physical location of a traditional business requires a lot of overhead. And so when you really look at it, it's difficult to build and scale a business of true duplication because of the inherent flaws with the typical model. And additionally, you know, when we're honing in on real estate or investments or mortgages, which some of my other friends on this call have talked about, these industries are heavily impacted by external factors which are beyond our control, like changes in interest rates, economic policy, regulatory constraints, and most often consumer sentiment. So even the most successful clients I had were impacted by these factors. All of them seemed to have large overhead costs that continued to grow, ultimately impacting their profits, except for one client. The same client who had introduced me to these natural products and helped me take control of my health and maintain it over the last 5-6 years. So from 2018 to 2023, he grew his business organically from where, when we first met, he and his wife were making $5,000 a month to now where they were profiting 7 figures a month in recurring cash flow. And his business model was simple. He and his wife partnered with a US-based company, which looked after sourcing the ingredients, the manufacturing, supply chain, research, development, legal structuring, and customer service. And their contribution was creating this, creating scalability by incorporating a franchise model. And by making it digital, the traditional barriers of cost of a physical franchise were now eliminated. So I knew the products worked because I had taken them for the last 5 years, and I knew the history and the credibility of the company, because their roots go all the way back to Rexall Pharmacy, and they're approved by Health Canada, which is one of the toughest FDAs in the world. So in January of this year, I realized that of all the different businesses that I had evaluated in my time, evaluating fundamentals to recommend clients to invest, over my banking career, this was the best business model that I've seen out there. And being, even being in wealth management for as long as I was, I realized there was a certain level that I was capped at and duplication wasn't there. And so what I'm sharing with you folks tonight is what we did with these two natural products and how we turned it into a digital franchise model where not only did we become successful, but we've had so many people that have become super successful at it as well, because ultimately we're solving a problem. And whenever you solve a problem, you have a rock solid business opportunity. And it wasn't just me and my former client who saw this opportunity. There are folks that are very well known in the real estate and the mortgage world that were incredibly successful, like Bikram Dosanjh, Real Estate Millions. He was involved in pre-construction condos since 2012. He sold over 400 condos in 2011 and has sold billions of dollars of real estate over his tenure in real estate. And then individuals like Christian Todorov, who comes from the mortgage industry background. He actually worked at a bank and left to start his own mortgage brokerage, was making 7 figures a year and invested in a 22 property real estate portfolio where he specialized in luxury Airbnbs. And again, over the last couple of years, as we saw things turn, the running operating costs for a lot of these properties continued to explode. But then you also had the other issue of individuals not being able to afford spending $10,000 for a weekend at a Muskoka cottage. And so these individuals who are already super successful in their respective fields saw that they had these challenges with recurring cash flow and managing the impact of interest rates and consumer sentiment. So they decided to launch their own digital franchises and have also been, incredibly successful since they've joined, because they felt the same challenges and pains of trying to duplicate in their own field. So if you think about the biggest pains in our society, just even looking in your own circle of family and friends, think about how many people are struggling with health and finances. And so every conversation I've had recently, someone talks about how expensive it is just to afford the basics, like housing, gas, groceries. And it really comes down to not having enough income to sustain a high quality of life, even when the household has 2 incomes to support the expenses. And in today's economy, it requires so much more to be able to afford providing the best life for your family. So what we've done is we've taken into consideration all the factors that make a business successful and scalable and combine them into this business where anyone can do it, including you, because you don't need a lot of capital to start. And that's the best thing about it. You can actually help people with their health, which we all know is the most important thing to anyone, followed by their wealth. And these are the 2 most important things to live the best life possible and provide the best life for your loved ones. So I started my own digital franchise and from zero. And in the last 6 months, I've been able to build a 6-figure business, and in the process, help hundreds of people build their own franchise where they're making an extra $5,000 or $10,000 a month, with some people on my team even making more than that. And in some cases, this income was even more than what they were making in their corporate job or in their business, because with a digital franchise, you're able to be profitable right away without taking on any debt or waiting 3 to 5 years to become profitable. You don't have any rent or employees or overhead. You don't have to start with debt. So there's nothing holding you back to grow, and you're not stuck to one geographic location. So with our model, you can actually operate all around the world. And in fact, we're in over 60 different countries. And so when you really understand the value, there's no limit to where you could take this digital franchise, and this could be done
I think Mom's gonna come here and get ready, so then we can.
So now that now that I've kind of gone over some of the background to preempt, more about our structure, really what I want to leave you with is thinking about how many people that are struggling with diabetes, cholesterol, blood pressure, they're overweight, constantly tired, or have hormonal imbalances. And for me, that was pretty much everyone I knew. So I knew I had market demand. And now the second question is, how many people would you say that are looking for a way to create extra income? And that cash flow could be, up to 5,000 or more. And that's recurring cash flow on a monthly basis. And again, I realized that it was almost everybody in my circle. So when you combine these two and think about the demand and the problems you're able to solve, it becomes a no-brainer to start your own digital franchise. So we provide the training, mentorship, infrastructure, and everything required to become successful in this business. And in fact, we've actually become one of the fastest growing in this space in a short amount of time. And the reason is because we have a successful strategy that works for everyone. And you don't need to have a big network. You don't need to be on social media. You don't need to know thousands of people. We kind of help you go through the motions to get started and then build and scale from there. So if you're interested in learning more, there will be a feedback form provided at the end of this event where you can request a follow-up. And I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone for their time this evening.
Wow. Thank you so much, Nancy. Yeah, you went in detail, and thank you for your story and your history and your background, with the product. I did see Kishore had his hand up during your session. Kishore, go ahead.
Nancy, you operate from Toronto?
Yes.
Okay. Are these when you say these health product, is there a name of company or something that you can throw onto us?
Yeah, so that, I don't want to take away from this meeting. So that's where if you fill out the form, we can connect one-on-one. And again, I'm not trying to sell anyone anything, just share information and go through that. So yeah, would be happy to connect with you and give you all the information you're looking for. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. The form is there. Marlene posted the form right there. Thank you so much, Nancy. Honestly, you really did open up. And the stuff you're saying is true. And in the session, it shows that it's flowing because we were talking about that, and then you had a solution that many people are if not now will be facing. So we're definitely gonna have a replay of this as well. We're sending out to our network, and you guys send to your networks. Like I think the best form of friendship is actually giving back. And going out and extending stuff to people. So by you everyone that's on here, share this session. If you're enjoying it, share the session with your friends, your family, forward it out, or we're gonna forward it out to you. All right. So thank you so much, Nancy. Amazing session. And yes, anyone that is interested in knowing more and does have more interest, just go through the form, fill it out, and then Nancy will break everything down to you. As I mentioned, I am a part of the digital franchise. I just actually finished my drink right here. But yeah, take a look at it. It's something really good. And now, we're talking about, how's the real estate market, and most of us here are, I guess, Ontario bound, right? But we got to think outside the box. And we have Clay Schlinke that's on here right now, and he's from the U.S. He's from Texas, so. Clay, you get to hear what's going on here in Canada, and now you can, you have a good scope, and definitely, we're glad that you actually opened up to us and, are participating in here, because now people could have an idea and thinking of Texas. But Clay, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be here. So it was interesting listening just to, real estate in Toronto and seeing everything that you were showing, because the price points there are just so much higher than Texas. I mean, Texas is, even less than a lot of states in the United States, but Texas, we're selling, for instance, and I'm going to go into my presentation in a minute, duplexes for $500,000. You're getting 2 doors that are going to rent for $1,750 each unit. So it brings in, $3,500 a month income. We've got 4plexes that are for $1 million. So, when you hear that you can get like a condo for $1 million, it's, it's crazy to see. So what I'm going to do, Richard, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to share my screen though. And, cause I'm going to do a little presentation instead of just talking to everybody.
Yeah, man, for sure. Of course. Go ahead. I'll share your screen.
So I'm just going to kind of start at the beginning and jump into this. So a little bit about myself. I just kind of want to talk a little bit about myself, and I put this up here so people can kind of just read and while I talk. But I'm born and lived in Texas my entire life. Grew up on a ranch in West Texas. Now I live on a ranch in the Hill Country, which is close to San Antonio. So we have a real estate development and construction company. We've been in the business since I've been in real estate since 1994. I actually started buying and flipping houses. I was flipping 120 homes a year. This was in the late 90s. We started developing and building in 1999 and really started building duplexes and fourplexes. That's really all we build in 2002. I've been doing that for quite a long time, and in San Antonio and Dallas, Fort Worth, in Texas. So one of probably the thing I'm most proud about, Richard, you were able to meet my family there in Toronto when I first met you a few months ago. But this is truly a family business. So my son, that's 27, he's my land acquisition director. My 21-year-old son is one of my project managers. My daughter-in-law is our sales manager, and then my wife owns and runs a property management company. And then I have a daughter in Texas A&M University majoring in construction science. So she's going to be joining the team as well once she graduates college. Our investing philosophy, really, we started, since I've been in real estate for so long, I used to buy and I still own a lot of rental properties. So, when we started doing duplexes and fourplexes, we really looked at three key factors, which is cash flow. We want to always make sure that our investors are cash flowing on their property. We really analyze markets and make sure when we sell a property that it's in a market that's going to appreciate. And right now we've been blessed, of course, to be in Texas, because that's one of the best states in the United States to not only to live in, but to invest in. And, we want to raise equity and increase equity for our buyers when they buy. And then also, of course, in the United States, you have some big tax benefits by owning investment properties by using a cost segregation study. So that's just a little bit about our investing philosophy. For people that aren't aware of Texas, Texas is, it's a huge state, and it's a state that a lot of people are moving to right now. It's a state that's very pro-business, and we have an area called the Texas Triangle, which is really where we build right now. We're San Antonio all the way up to Dallas, Fort Worth. We're not in Houston yet. Probably next year we'll be in Houston. But that area is, I think, would rate as like the 8th largest GDP in the whole world, just that area of Texas. So, and projections for growth right now in 2015 was 18 million. 2030 will be over 21 million. So in a few years, you can see the amount of growth that's happening in Texas. This is just another little chart that touches on really San Antonio and Fort Worth, which are two of our biggest markets. And it goes back from 2020 through 2023, shows that consistently year in and year out, San Antonio and Fort Worth have been some of the top markets in the United States for growth. Just a little bit about my wife. She owns and runs our property management company. I think this is really critical for our success, because we want to make sure when people do buy from us that we're going to manage the complex as a build-to-rent community, maintain the rents, make sure the rents are consistent, make sure the neighborhood always looks good, and really protect your investment to make sure you're making money on it, because we want you to not only buy from us on one property, but to continually buy from us every time you invest. That's a little bit about that. One thing to touch about also to everyone on here, so if you're a realtor, if you're a mortgage broker, whatever you might be in real estate, if you're if you have clients or you have anyone that's interested in investing in the United States, please reach out to us. We're happy to pay you a marketing fee if someone buys from us. So you do not have to be licensed. Since I'm the owner of my company, I can pay you a marketing fee, and it would not be a commission. It would just be a straight marketing fee for bringing a buyer to us. So a little bit about our product. Everything we build is either a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1-car garage, or it's going to be a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage. Luxury vinyl plank downstairs, carpet upstairs. You can kind of read through this. 100% rent ready. So when someone buys from us, they do not have to do anything. They literally sign a contract. We're going to take them from A to Z. We're going to get them their insurance. We're going to get them their mortgage in place. Unless someone brings a client and you're doing the mortgage, we're happy to work with you as well. But we really take care of everything and make this a very seamless process. There's a QR code. You can scan that if you want more information. There'll be more of that later as we get kind of through this slideshow. This is just some sample photos of our product. I'm showing downstairs with luxury vinyl plank, stainless steel appliances. Each unit's about 1,250 square feet up to about 1,500 square feet. So investment opportunities as a Canadian. So really we have three that we could kind of talk about today. First would be if you filed a tax return in the United States, then we can actually get you a Fannie Mae loan and we can get you an interest rate of 4.25%. That's going to be a 30-year amortization and it's going to be a balloon in basically 10 years. So it's fixed for 10 years, then it will adjust after that. So that's something that's really, I like to point out for people. We do an interest rate, basically it's a buy down. So it's expensive for us to do, but that's really how we market and how we're able to move as much product as we move right now in kind of the challenging times, at least right now in the United States with higher interest rates than in the past. If you're Canadian and you have not filed the United States tax return, we can still get you a loan. The down payment's going to bump up 30 to 35% down payment. Interest rate's going to be somewhere in the sixes. And what we can do for your investors in that situation, if you're buying, since we're not doing an interest rate buy down, we can work with you in some phase to either, give you cash back or whatever that money we would utilize to buy the interest rate down. Since you're not taking that option, we would work with you through our property management company to, maybe we do something with the rent, or we would just work with you to be able to, capitalize in that scenario. And then last investment option would be if you have if you have someone who's looking to invest capital, maybe they don't want to own real estate, but they're looking just for a true investment. We do offer syndications, which are project specific syndication, meaning we'll tell you exactly where your money is going, what we're going to build with your money, and then you'll get a return between 20 and 30% annually. I'll show you kind of an investment example later in this slideshow. So here's one of our current projects. This is 31 duplexes. I think we only have 6 left. We'll be done building these by October. This is just a little information. And this is a very quick slideshow. So if you want more information, there'll be some places later you can take some information down to reach out to us. One of our fourplex projects, another side of San Antonio, 1.1 sales price. Our monthly rent, $7,580. That's on all 4 units. You can kind of read it's close to financial centers, close to military bases. So it's a great location in San Antonio. This was our syndication model that I just spoke about. And once again, I can get you more information if you reach out to us direct after this. Minimum investment is $50,000. With that, you're going to get a preferred return of 8%, and then you're going to get a percentage of the profit at the end of the project. So with a sample investment, $100,000 sample investment would give you a 10% preferred return. And then with the profit share at the end, it would be, basically your percentage returns 53% over 2 years. So a little bit more than 25% annually. How to invest, basically right here, you're going to call email Lexi as my daughter-in-law, who I mentioned earlier. You can either email her, you can call her, you can scan the QR code. If you're interested in real estate, it's $5,000 for a duplex, earnest money, $10,000 for a fourplex. If you're interested in the syndication model, then that would just be, working with Lexi and letting her know, and she'd put you in contact with myself. So, that's the best way to reach us, this QR code, or through the email or phone number. So that's kind of really it, Richard, as far as a quick rundown. I went through, so I want to just take questions. I figured people might have questions about Texas and about really what we do.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. It looks like you got some nice properties there. I have a question because we were talking about duplexes. So are you selling the full duplex, or you're selling like the individual units in the duplex?
No, it'd be the full duplex. So like in that situation, it's $515,000. That's buying 2 units.
Okay.
The $1.1 million, you're buying actually 4 units. So about $250,000 more or less per unit is what our sales price is.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a good deal. Anyone have any questions for Clay while he's on here? You know, anyone think about investing in the US? Okay, we got a hand up. Corey Miller, go ahead.
I do have one question, Clay. My name is Corey. I like the syndicate model. You mentioned that you might go into Houston in a year or so.
Right.
We just seen a hurricane probably like a week ago or something like that with flooding. How, as an investor, like how do you think that you're going to overcome some of those issues, and me an investor wanting to invest in Houston?
Right.
I look at it in that input.
Yeah, in that situation, of course, we'd have insurance to protect, you know, any investors and protect our project if there was another hurricane that potentially could hit Houston. So that's one of the risks. I'll be honest, that's one of the reasons we haven't really moved into Houston yet, is because of that. We're in San Antonio, we're in Dallas, Fort Worth, which is a much more centralized in Texas.
Right.
And a little bit away from, you know, natural disasters. So that's one reason we really haven't gone into Houston. But Houston is a great market, you know, so it's a lot of growth. So we're still really looking at that market. We're actually looking at Oklahoma City as another market. We're going to enter Nashville as well. So really kind of just looking to see what's going to be the best fit for the next market for 2025 for us. But any markets we go into, we always have insurance that protects, you know, our company and protects the investors.
All right, thank you, Clay. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. You'll
Thanks,
hear
Corey.
from me as well. Because I can refer clients to you because I do also have a marketing company, and
Okay.
I'm migrating that way down to South. So I'll definitely, you know, contact you and see how we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, great. Would love to talk to you more.
All right, thank you, Clay.
Thanks, Corey.
All right, that's amazing. That's amazing. We have another question, Kathy.
Hi. Yeah, I have a question regarding demographics, like who are purchasing these products? Like what percentage are Canadian investors, and what is the risk tolerance with regards to these projects?
Yeah, so Canadian investors really is kind of a new market for us. We were in Toronto in May. That was my first time in Canada. I actually really loved it. It was a great time. That's where I met Richard at the multifamily event. And so, you know, really, this is kind of our first, I guess, foray into the Canadian market and meeting people. And we had a great response at Toronto at the conference there. So we've got actually several buyers that are buying from us and several people that are already investing in our syndication as well. So that's something that we're pleased with. So we're really looking to kind of grow that market, to be honest. So that's what kind of led me to come on this this call here with Richard as well. And then what was the other question, Kathy?
Regarding risk, like what kind of risk?
Yeah, so risk as far as an investor buying from us, you know, we're in Texas, and I know y'all don't really maybe not know Texas, but as far as in the United States, Texas and Florida are the two states that are growing the most. You know, all the states, California, New York, all these other states that are really restrictive, maybe politically, just the way, you know, they do business. It's kind of stifling growth in those cities. So Texas and Florida are both very pro-business. So we're taking advantage of that. So I think as a risk, you know, there's risk always in real estate, but I think it's very minimal investing in Texas because the amount of people moving to Texas currently and businesses, you know, it's a lot of businesses are moving their headquarters and new businesses opening up all across the state.
Thank you so much.
I don't know how to raise my hand, but I just unmuted myself.
Yeah.
I wanted to second Clay. I met Clay at the multifamily conference. Just to answer your question, I'm also going to introduce myself a little bit later, but a lot of investors are very much interested in the Texas market. I myself launched like 15 Airbnbs in Dallas in January. So and I'm Canadian. So a lot of Canadians are actually starting to look in, especially in Texas market. They have really good like rental laws. So for long-term rentals, like amazing. So like a lot of Canadian investors, if you are actually within those conversations of investors that have been investing maybe within the past 5-6 years now, Texas is definitely within the topic of radar for a lot of investors. So it's actually like you coming into the market really nicely because a lot of investors are looking that way.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, that's what we found being there in Toronto. We met so many people that just, they're looking for alternatives, and Texas is one of those. And like you mentioned on the, if you have a tenant in Texas, for instance, and they don't pay rent, we get them out in 21 days. I mean, it's no messing around. Like, they're out. They don't pay, they're out. So, you've got states like California where people are in there for 2 years, they don't pay any rent. It's just ridiculous. In Texas, if you don't pay, you're gone, and it's a matter of a few days. So I appreciate you mentioning that.
Wow, wow. So what about the in terms of the rental thing? Because you said that once these houses are built as well, you have rental guarantees on them, right? So you guys, so what, you guys sought out tenants? Because I'm thinking, like, for Canadians especially too, like, to make the trip out there, they're not gonna, they're not as close to the property, right? So is that something that you guys do?
Yeah. So as owning the property management company as well, we just started that a few years ago because we used to refer that business out to other management companies, and we weren't happy with the results. So that's why we decided to bring it kind of in-house, so we can really manage it and make sure it's taken care of. And we operate it, we manage all the units in the community. So we really truly run it like a build a rent community, almost like an apartment complex, keep the rents consistent. We look to increase rents every year, 4 to 5%. So that's something we really look to do. So, and depending on their financing, so it's something we can look at doing rent guarantees. We're fine. We believe in our product that much, that we know it's going to rent. So that's something that if you have an investor that wants to buy, we can look at doing something like that for them.
Okay. And then when it comes to like financing options and all that stuff, like how is that over there in Texas?
Yeah. So we work with a company called CMG Financial. That's who we do the 4.25 interest rate right now with. They also have a foreign national program that would be, the 30% down. Rate's going to be a little higher, of course, but so what we would do, instead of buying that interest rate down, because let's say if you haven't filed the United States tax return, we would get you a little higher interest rate, but through that, then we could come back on the backside and give you a rental guarantee to protect your investment, so you make sure you're making the return that you need to make.
Okay. No, that's some good information. Any other questions for Clay? I see we got a lot of listeners, and even in the chat box, let us know, like, so far, like, are you learning? Are you have any insights? Are you considering? And Clay, what I want to know is, like, it's like Eve was saying that people are focusing in, well, not general focus, but it's like everyone, of course, is looking for what options they have, to invest, right? And you talk about the risks that are limited there. You talk about the how the landlord laws are good over there, right? And what else should people look for, and what else are reasons why Texas is the way to go?
Really, I think I hit on it. I mean, it's just growth, right now, population growth because of businesses coming here and because of people just trying to get to states like Texas and Florida that really, let people live. They don't try to stifle them with all these restrictions. We're very kind of a free state in that aspect, so I think you've got a lot of people that are just trying to get to Texas because of that reason. And then you have people moving here because of businesses that's coming. Literally new industries and new businesses, their headquarters coming from California. Elon Musk, moved to Austin. He's got, Tesla there in Austin. He's got stuff in San Antonio. He's got his SpaceX in Texas as well. So you've got, growth like that, which really gives the longevity for Texas to continue on the path that it's on. No state income tax is another huge thing. If you live in the United States, there's 0 state income tax. So that's a big positive as well. So I think with that, our really everything for Texas right now, our weather is great, a little hot, but overall weather's nice. And then you've got the landlord friendly, laws. So I mean, it's just those types of things really make Texas a great market to look at.
Yeah, I know that sounds really good, man. I'm interested. Like I told, I'm definitely gonna make a trip down there to come see what's going on over there. And there's no restrictions in terms of I guess how you're renting, because like Eve was saying, she has Airbnbs out there. So even with your properties, if you purchase them, you can make them Airbnb and all that. There's no restrictions on it.
Right. No, Airbnb, you could do corporate housing. A lot of neighborhoods that we're in, people are doing corporate housing because of, the businesses that are around, they want that corporate housing. And then of course you can do long-term rentals as well. So you've got plenty of options. And for anyone who wants to come to Texas, come to San Antonio. We'll take you around, show you everything. We'll go get some Texas barbecue and treat you right. So
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you allow me to arbitrage your unit?
I'm fine with that, to be honest.
Oh my gosh! Wow, look at that.
Yeah, we're flexible. I mean, to be honest, it's not. We're here to move product, and if that works and it's a win-win for both parties, why not?
I think we need to touch base. I've been wanting to message you. You were a part of my I need to follow up list.
Yeah,
I had a chance, but I think this is fate.
Good. Well, reach out to me for sure. We'll do business.
Perfect.
Hey, throw me in the mix,
Definitely.
Yeah.
You guys want to be in the way. Everybody here is in the way of monies, and that's where.
Yeah, let's all build together, make it happen for sure.
We'll make a Canadian trip. Y'all all come down and we'll have one hell of a party.
Oh yeah. I'm down for that for
Texas,
sure.
they do it big, I heard. The party.
Right, yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. So we have the link that's posted there. Clay, thank you so much for being on here. Honestly, you definitely opened up reasons to go look in the US for sure. I know people's minds are on it, but you just make it more comfortable because you're familiar with the area. It's good to be connected with a developer, there, instead of just going out there and just finding something and buying. It's good to actually see who you are, what you're about. And I love the fact that you're the definition of generational wealth. You have everyone in your family that's pretty much a part of the company. Your wife is amazing, your son and your daughters, it's amazing, so that's what you guys are doing. It shows that you guys really do care about the foundation of good principles, right?
Definitely. No, thank you. I appreciate it and appreciate the time being here, and God bless everyone.
Yes, God bless you too, man. That's amazing. Just as this thing is working, honestly, I didn't know that you and Eve actually connected, and that just shows that things are flowing how they should be flowing. Because Eve Panaguiton, if I pronounce that correctly, is our next speaker, for today. And I'm grateful because we've been consistent, throughout this whole session. Add about 30 people that are on the session. This is the first one that we're doing. So I'm hoping that, as we continue to build on this session, everyone comes back and then this continues to grow, because we're getting so much knowledge and things are opening up, and we're about to open up more. So Eve, welcome to Invest for Cashflow, and, talk to everyone.
Hi everyone. Oh my gosh, thank you guys for joining. I hope you guys got some food, because I know we've been in for a couple hours now, I think, right? How long has it been now?
I think we're in 2 hours in. We got one more to go. One more to go.
Okay. So if everyone's chewing, it's okay to turn off your camera, or if you need to chew, I'll allow you.
We see Arlen right there. She just said, show us that she has her food on. She's getting her grub on.
There you go. Yeah, so thank you so much for having me here. Okay. I guess I didn't really prepare for this call so much, because I really wanted this to be kind of like a conversation and tell you guys a little bit about myself, and kind of see how I can help you and give you guys any value any way I can, based on my journey so far. So my name is Eve. I've been investing in real estate for about 4 years now. And I first started kind of my strategy within fix and flips. But actually before that, this is a really important part of it. I was actually working within the financial sector for about 5 years before that. So it was kind of, I quit my full-time job when I was around 24 years old. And that was when I decided it was time to take a leap of faith and kind of go into this entrepreneurial side of me. And so I really cut off that job that I had that was 9 to 5, and I was ready to say I can create my own security. And it was like really brave of me, but I figured that it was the best time to take that risk. Because it was, you know, I felt like I wasn't too old or wasn't too young, and I could still move back to my parents if I really needed to. And so I was within the financial sector about 5 years before that. And then I kind of did really well. But what I didn't like about it was that I didn't have ownership of my time. And I think that's like a common story for a lot of us, is that we felt very restricted. The biggest thing that really pushed me into quitting was that I had realized that I worked so much in my full-time job that I could barely kind of even see the sun, because I would leave the house like before the sun would even come up, and I would take the subway to downtown Toronto, and then I would work, and my cubicle was like in the middle of the building for that whole time, and then I would get out and it was nighttime. So it was like I would barely see the sun, and I kind of didn't feel right, and I guess that was a part of it. And that was when I ended up realizing that when I took a day off, finally, I realized that I wasn't seeing the sun enough. I just, it didn't make sense to me. That lifestyle didn't make sense. And so that's what really pushed me over to quit. I ended up attending a real estate seminar called Rules of Renovations, and that was where I really learned everything about real estate, and which is like a lot for 3 days. I paid about $2,000 that weekend. They taught me private lending, rent to own, fix and flip, multifamily, land development, but this was like a real estate firm. And so they were kind of teaching me how to be an investor at that point, which I really didn't know what it meant until I invested more into it. And that was when I had learned that you could be in real estate without working in real estate. So at first I thought being in real estate was, you know, becoming like a mortgage broker or a realtor, but I didn't know that you could be in real estate as an investor. And that was like very surprising to me, because I didn't even know what investing was, because I didn't actually even have the liquidity to get into real estate. So I was like, how could me knowing this much knowledge that I've learned and accumulated at this point of my learning, make money from it when I'm not a real estate professional, nor do I have the liquidity to start? And so this is where capital raising for me had started. I had learned that if you bring value to the table, if you find the deal, investors will come to you. And lo and behold, I found one of my first real estate investments. It was a single family house. We had bought it for $230,000, and this was like about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago now. And I looked at the comps and I said, once we finished and put in $100,000 into this renovation, we could probably sell it for, you know, 450,000, because that's what was the comps was saying. And we had it under contract for 230, and I knew it needed 100K worth of renovations. And so I knew that the only thing what was missing in that variable was money. And this is where I got really good at raising capital. And I actually raised so much capital from Facebook, because I just became like super good at it, that I became like a super networker on Facebook. And I met so many investors, especially during COVID, that I raised so much capital for my projects. And that's how this even first one got started. It got funded by an investor, fully funded. Like we ended up going 50-50 on that. It didn't go the way we planned it, because it took a little bit longer, but also we did sell it for a little bit higher. So instead of selling it for 450, we ended up selling for 550. Keep in mind, we bought it for 230,000. So we made a lot of money on that. It attracted a lot more investors. We continued that strategy until I knew that, because investing in Canada, we have capital gains, and I'm sure you guys are aware of capital gains taxes now. I realized that that was going to be a big interruption in my business if I actually wanted to make money. So I ended up kind of moving into multifamilies, because I realized that I can push that appreciation similarly that I did in single family homes, but actually refinance a lot higher. So refinancing allows me to not pay the taxes, because I'm taking out that equity as debt as opposed to capital gains. And it allows me to buy more doors. And so I end up buying my first investment property out in New Brunswick, which was like a triplex for $230,000. A few years later now, that's $450,000. It's actually 3 years now, it's $450,000. And then I bought my 6 units, and that one I ended up buying for $250,000. So six unit for $250,000. I'm sure you guys can count how cheap that is. And per door, that is now about $1,000, $1,200 a door of rental income. So if you guys actually could run the math on that, those are performing very well. So I just ended up continuing doing that because I had started attracting more investor money because I was giving very high cash on cash on buying these multifamilies. And so we would buy them, we would renovate them, we'd refinance them, and then we'd take out the money and buy a couple more buildings. I think I think I got about to my 3rd or 4th apartment building in New Brunswick, and that was when they lifted the COVID restrictions, and then I flew into New Brunswick because they weren't allowing us to fly in there. But I had bought like a couple of buildings by the time I visited New Brunswick. And then now that the interest rates have hiked, and I think that's the topic of discussion that everyone's having here, what happened, right? What happened to everyone's business? For me, in my investment business, if I was looking at everything as an investor, it's going to require me a lot more money to get into deals nowadays, right? So like, as opposed, I have to put in like 65% loan to value to really just get to that 1.2 DSCR, right? That's a lot of money. I used to be able to get things at 25% down payment, right? And then some are seller finance deal at 10% down payment. Why do I need to put 35% down payment? And how hard is my money working for me at that point? I'm doing my calculations on multifamilies, and I'm seeing them at 5% cash on cash, and God forbid something happens, or like you get a small maintenance there. It depletes that cash flow, right? So from a tactical point of view, if I'm actually starting to look at my investments and obviously the cash on cash, I have to, if I were to redeploy the existing liquidity, I have to take a lot of things into considerations. Like I have to take on like obviously inflation, the cost of borrowing, and the cost of carrying for all of this. And because of that, if I were to reinvest any existing liquidity right now, I need to be over 10%, 15% minimum, and 20% for me to get paid as well, right? Because now I've been entrusted with so much money from investors as well as myself that I need to continue that momentum. And I'm on the hunt of providing the best products with what I can give myself, to be first and foremost, because I've been used to and spoiled of good products that I've created for myself because of the strategies that I've done in real estate. So I've been on a hunt on wealth management. So instead of allocating resources right now, admittedly, and buying more hard assets, we have put in our liquidity out in Switzerland. So that's kind of where I am right now. And that's just the way I see things as a geopolitical like climate where we're heading. And I think Kish has mentioned a little bit about it as well. Kish mentioned that we do masterminding, Kish, Shervin, and Puya and I. So we mastermind a lot about foreshadowing the geopolitics where reality is based on the actual changing world order, and what this all means that's happening to us. And admittedly, if obviously being entrusted with the wealth that I've created for ourselves, I have to make sure that the wealth is protected in the long term. And so that's really what brought my interest into diving deep into geopolitics and being involved in Switzerland right now. So what I'm doing for Switzerland is I actually didn't intend to be within AB Global Swiss. I was actually kind of asked if they wanted me to work for them because of my capital markets backgrounds. And they wanted to do a business expansion. And so a lot of investors right now that are working with AB Global Swiss are more of like nonprofit organizations. And they had asked me to expand their kind of investor pool into retail investors. So that's something that I kind of took a step away from exactly the redeployment of liquidity, just allowing it invested out in Switzerland and kind of re-strategizing it for AB Global Swiss, because what I hope to do and work with them in the future is reinvest into real estate, but more within emerging markets. And I'm sure if you guys do truly watch geopolitics, you would know exactly which ones are emerging markets. I do believe in buying hard assets still, but if I were to continue buying hard assets, I'd rather leverage the existing liquidity of its purchasing power, number one, and buying better assets such as like shopping malls or industrial spaces. That kind of takes me away from the actual tenant management per se, because that wasn't really something that I wanted as a part of the real estate, but it just happened to be there. I'm more interested within the actual investing side of it. So yeah, that's about me. I don't know if that was like 20 minutes.
No, you guys still have more time. You're going in detail, so let's break it down further, right? Because you were talking about different things that you're into, like like what you're on. So I just want you to go deeper because we do have the time. So and I remember the first time I talked to you, I said you're very deep. You're going over my head. So now it's amazing that we got some more of your time here. So I'll open up more as to what you're talking about.
Yeah. I guess, did Corey have a question?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Corey. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What do you mean by like I've never heard of like geo-targeting and stuff like that. Geopolitics and emerging markets. And can you go in more detail on that? Because that totally went over my head.
Yes. Well, I mean, you see how everything is happening with the world, right? I think it was like around 40% of the world had election this year. 45% of the world had an election this year, and that's insane. That means there's a lot of things moving, and I think Kish could really speak more about this. But what I know versus what Kish knows about geopolitics, I just know what's trending within the news. The rise of BRICS, obviously, the control of Russia. If you're just really tuned into the news, you'll understand that there is not enough people fighting the war in Ukraine, that they are trying to take prisoners to fight the war in Ukraine just so it would continue, even though it should just end. My political opinion, it just needs to end. But there's a huge hidden agenda because there's a lot of people making money from these wars, right? So it's to me, I could just sit there and say, oh, save lives, No, I think I could do better than that. I think I could actually talk about the actual issues at hand and see if we can raise awareness into having more people truly understand what's going on with the world and how a lot of us are just collateral to these decisions, and what can we do if we are investing. It shouldn't be limited or restricted to our own financial capabilities or our surroundings. I think investment truly means is to understand where your future is heading. And I know I've got a lot more years to live. So I do think that this concerns me because we are going to be going through a huge shift in economics. And because I do think, like, based on, if you read Ray Dalio's book, Changing World Order, we're probably within the last 10 to 15 years of our economic cycle. And what does that truly mean? You can read up to it. Enjoy.
I get what you mean now. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so elaborate on that though, because these decisions, like, what are the moves? I know you talked about your banking in Switzerland, like, so this is obviously because of the same geopolitics that you're talking about, right? So in terms of tactical, because yes, we see the information, see what's going on. So what are the tactical moves that you're analyzing and you're making?
What are the tactical move? Protect liquidity. Cash is king right now. Cash is king. If you have cash, so many people pay for cash, like money for cash. Like, if we're really putting this into perspective, someone mentioned this, I think it was Raquel, where realtors like cash flow issue, right? Some realtors are new to the industry and they're probably having cash flow issues, right? That those people have families, those people have mortgages, they have rent to pay, right? So they're willing to like, hey, like help us out, right? So and I think it's really important we create awareness to that and not be greedy about it and truly understand like who's going to help us if not each other, right? So like if I went on a tangent down there, what was your question?
That was in alignment with the question.
Yeah.
I was talking about tactical. I was talking about tactical moves. So yeah.
Tactical move. So private lending, right? Private lending. If you've got cash, access to credit, you know, like just be open. Like I get that there's these issues that people are having with promissory notes with some investments, but like it's truly like there's a difference between like understanding and how you can make money, because at the end of the day, some people can go and pay 40% interest to some smart financial or whatever, because they need a holding cost for their asset. They need something else, right? Like, don't be scared of this opportunity if the person is genuinely competent to repay the actual amount being loaned, right? And just be absolutely be business savvy with that, because there's a lot of money to be made within that. There's a lot of investors out there trying to get out of investments, so they're getting very creative within sales sharing. They're getting very creative within corporate sales sharing, you know what I mean? So like, or selling the joint venture agreement or whatnot. There's a plethora of opportunities that if you have cash, if you have access to cash, this is the time to make money, because not out of greed, but out of actually truly helping people, like genuine people who needs carrying cost for their business, you know. Let me give you this perspective. They had a law in Canada where you had to publish the bare trustee. So I don't know if everybody heard that, but you had to publish if there's any beneficial owners or whatever. So accountants, essentially what they did is they hired a bunch more people to work for their accounting firm so that they can reach out to all their clients, their investors, their retail investors, and say, hey, look, whatever it is that you own, the government now requires, the government literally said, they now want to know who owns what. Doesn't matter if like, let's just say I bought a car and then I give it to Richard to lease it for me, to pay the lease. The government now needs to know about our transaction. That was literally a law this year. And so a lot of investors started like putting their paperwork together, because we have to submit that. The 2 days before we were supposed to submit that for tax filing, they said, nope, we don't need it anymore. Whatever you guys did, everything that was submitted, we don't care to know who owns what anymore. So what happens there? A lot of accountants, they already paid a lot of money on their payroll. A lot of employees are now, like, they worked to that hour, to that end, and now accountants are like, who's going to pay for our payroll? Right? Because the clients aren't going to pay for the services that they didn't need because the government didn't ask for them. So now accountants are out. How many accountants there are probably needing money because now they got to still pay their payroll, because that's people who have jobs that needs to pay for their own stuff too, right? So I think we just need to be so much more aware of everything that's going on around us. I think we need to see these opportunities, talk to people genuinely, and be an offer of a helping hand. And to be honest, you make money in the transaction, and because you are helping someone within their business who's been so professional. Like, let's say my account, not that he would need money, not that he said that to me, but I'm just saying there are a lot of people out there that are stuck within this economic shift. And the government isn't helping us. I still have to pay lots of taxes. So does everybody else, right? The cost of living are up. And some investors can't even get out of investment because it's been a topic today. It's a buyer's market, right? So investors that needs to liquidate, they can't, right? So yeah, I think I just went on another tangent there. How's everyone feeling?
That's what we first perfect guest for this time, because we're waiting for Brad Blaze to come on. But in the meantime, What you saying that as well, right? What about on the flip side? And I know, Brad is going to be talking about raising capital and from higher net worth investors. But like that's what I want to bring to you, because you said right now if you have cash is good. Cash is the opportunity right now. But what about those on the flip side that are in need of cash? I want you to talk about like what are tactical things that they could do, because it's two sides to the coin, right?
So what do people do for what they need in cash? Openly talk about your business, the reality of it, right? I think there's no shame to say where things are. If you have a friend, just talk to them. And big thing, have friends that are in business so that they understand your problems. Because if you have just regular friends that's not in business, they'll start judging everything every decision you've ever made that you got to where you are. And so it's like, it doesn't even make sense. It's like, bro, it's that anyways. I just wanted to emphasize that is to be in the right network and have the right friends, have the right social circle. These types of circles are very important. Being connected within the people that you want to become, right? Like for me, I'm trying to network with people who are $100 million valuation, because I've attained a large portfolio up to since 4 years ago, and I'm trying to 10x where I am. So be under the right circumstances and having bigger friends, because you're gonna fight bigger bosses. I mean, if that's what you desire out of life. So always kind of network beyond you, right? Find value in the people that have accomplished more than you. Take them out to dinner, buy them coffee, and then really learn from them. Be in their network, even if that's an opportunity. Being invited to calls like this, right? So yeah, all my friends, they're at least 50 million liquid. Those are the people that I've been hanging out with, because that's the people that I want to be around, right? And you can't do that if you just stay within the same parameters, and you can't do that if you don't value someone who definitely has accomplished something more than you, right? So give them value, give them time any way you can. Because business is about relationship and working with people that are in that same journey as you. And it's really important to identify those people.
Okay, so how are you tapping into those circles? Because we're all out here, but I guess you've been capital raising. Of course, you're talking to them about things that they're interested in, right? And I guess it's just snowball effect from that, right? So if you don't mind, how are you tapping into those circles?
How am I tapping into those circles? Wow. Yeah, actually, it's so funny. I'll tell you guys one story. How did I tap into one of these circles? So I went to a car dealership, and it was the dealership downtown Toronto. It was where they sell Lamborghinis. I don't know if you guys know which one that is. Richard, do you know which one that is?
I know this Heather Lamborghini. Is that the one that she's at? Heather, do you know Heather?
No.
Grand Touring Auto.
Grand Touring.
Grand Touring Auto.
Yeah, Grand Touring. Yeah, so I went to Grand Touring, and I'm not even gonna talk about why here, but I went to Grand Touring and I got invited to their Bentley promotion party. And obviously, I'm gonna come. And so I pulled up in the Bentley, the Bentley, I guess, events. They had a bunch of Bentleys there, everyone dressed nice, McAllen's everywhere. It was an amazing party. Yes, those are the people. I met one guy there that's still I just actually spoke to him the other day. When I first met him, he was eating 30 mil, 40 mil type of deal for breakfast. Now he's liquid 180. So I'm like, damn. That's that's I can't even fathom that. I'm like, that's so nice. And it's really nice to be within those circles. They're encouraging me. I meet people through him. So it kind of just you gotta be creative. You're not gonna find them in the wrong places. You gotta be in the right places.
Yeah, you left out a gem there. You left out because you said you were at the place. You're not going to say why. That's the full story, you know. Because that's amazing. You're going to places where you know there's high net worth people, and then hey, you get invited to continue the journey, right?
Yeah, and it's like, and you're just constantly in this high vibration. You're just in this high vibration because like the people in that level is so like different in vibration, and you kind of just get very influenced around that, and you carry that energy everywhere you go, and you just attract it. Yeah, it's like a testament of law of attraction.
Nice. So yeah, so your session is high performance strategies for smart investing. You've been giving us that all day. But if there's any final things that you want to say, we got like 5 more minutes, or even any questions that anyone has for Eve, because you definitely shared a lot of gems. Appreciate that. But continue.
Hello, Eve. Thank you
Hi.
for speaking with us today. You mentioned law of attraction there. Could you speak to us a little bit about how positive mindset has played a role in your successes, and maybe how we could use it in our successes?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so if I had known what I knew about like mindset today, like to the level of the knowledge that I have about mindset and spirituality, I would be like at 100 million. Like I realized that everything that I was doing, despite the success that I've accomplished within the past 4 years, was still hard work compared to what like the mindset and understanding like that in order for you to change your results, you stop stomping at that result. Like sometimes if we don't like the outcome, we keep trying to change the outcome, but then the way to go about that is to actually change your thoughts beforehand. And if you change your thoughts, you're kind of creating this new level of consciousness, and as long as you embed it within your subconscious, you end up changing your results. You end up changing your physical state, everything that surrounds you, everything that you attract, and literally everything comes easier. When I first learned this, I learned that my like success was 95% mindset, 5% effort. And like with that type of parameters, 95% mindset, I realized I was actually working so much harder than I did the past 4 years, that if I actually just had a better mindset, I would have probably like I would have reached incredible heights, because the pace of which I've been going ever since I've learned what I learned on mindset has been incredible. Every single day had been so much more meaningful. I personally have raised like so much money for Able Global Swiss at this point. Like people were just kind of coming to me, like even investors, like the network. How do I get into the networks? I think everybody's trying to wonder, how do I get into these networks? I just attract them. I end up going to dinner with the right people. They actually end up offering to go out with me as well. So it's just I've been in the right place and in the right time, and that's where you kind of have to trust the how. You can't always plan everything and think, oh, in order for me to be successful, I have to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G every single day. There's the room for a how that's going to be created for you. And for as long as you actually understand the law of your mindset and like what you can actually accomplish and do, you don't need to worry about that process. The outcome just happens for you. And that's kind of where my journey has been ever since I've learned that. And it's the most important part, that I would say. If you don't have that, you're kind of working backwards, or you're actually working too hard. The mindset aspect is very critical, and I wish I had known what I know now back then, but I think it's just the right timing that I know it now.
Amazing.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for that question too, because definitely that's the number one thing everyone needs to be really focused on, is their mindset, because we are, especially right now, in this time, it's really important that, our minds are in control, and we're putting ourselves around people, just like what Eve was saying, around people who are going to assist and elevate your mindset and not, bring you on a lower vibration, right? So that's why this session right here, Invest for Cashflow, we plan to do it every month, right? And we want it to be a community thing, where everyone's here and everyone goes and calls another person to come on the next session, right? Because when we have speakers like Eve, John Claude, Nancy, Clay, and Brad, who just joined us, the perfect cue right there, Brad Blazar, who just joined us. When we have platforms where, we have these people who can speak to us and really give us insights and gems, it's a shortcut, it's a shortcut, for, whatever it is that we're looking to do. So Eve, thank you so much. We appreciate your time, your session, and we'd love to have you on all of our future sessions as well, as well as everyone that's on here. And it's a great transition. We're opening the floor to Brad Blazar, who is actually the #1 capital raising, coach in America. He's there. He's raised over $2 billion in capital raising. Eve was talking about, how that propelled her, in her real estate career, in her business career, right? And we have the #1 person that is gonna, actually bless us with time and open up, everything that he knows about this whole game. So Brad, thank you so much for joining us.
Great. Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. I just flew back home after spending a couple amazing days up in Burlington, Vermont, which was pretty cool. Got a chance to get out and enjoy some great weather, which was fantastic. So, it's always nice to enjoy the Upper East Coast. Today, what I want to focus on are really 2 or 3 things. It's my belief that most everybody in the world has an inner desire to be doing more in life. And what I mean by that is most people have a dream or have a goal. And a lot of times for many people, that desire to do more, that goal gets extinguished. And it's sad because as somebody that has worked alongside many individuals, many businesses, helping them attract and raise capital, the #1 and primary reason that people's dreams and goals get extinguished is due to a lack of capital. I can't tell you how many thousands of conversations I have had with people that tell me they've got this dream to do something big, like start a restaurant or buy a business or invest in real estate like me, or maybe launch a new company. And I ask them, well, geez, what's holding you back? And the very funny thing is that invariably, almost 95% of the time, it's not the fear or the limiting belief, it's the lack of capital. And what people need to realize is that every day when we wake up and we get out of bed, we're pretty much surrounded by all the money we need to do anything in life we want, desire. We just call these other people investors. And so tonight in my session, what I want to do is I want to share some of the methods that I have personally used to literally raise tens and hundreds of millions of dollars through my personal efforts and the efforts of teams that I built and teams that I've led. Now, a second thing that I also believe is that people that have a coach or that have a mentor in their corner will outproduce, will outperform, and more importantly, will out-earn their peers. Would y'all logically agree with me on that? If you do, just put a Y or a yes in the chat so I know that logically you and I are following along and we're both in agreement on that. I truly believe that if you have a coach or if you have a mentor, you can dramatically outperform your peers, dramatically out-earn the competition, because what you're doing is you're literally walking in somebody else's shoes that has been there before you. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and then we'll actually get started with our session tonight. I'm kind of known around the world as the guy that's raised $2 billion. I raised over $2 billion primarily through my efforts, the efforts of teams I've led for some of the world's largest and most established financial services companies. But a lot of people that turn to me and say, Brad, what makes you uniquely talented or perhaps different than some of the other coaches or some of the other mentors that I might be seeing or that I might be following out in the marketplace? There's a couple of things. And so the first thing is that I am the former CEO and founder of a small mid-sized oil company. And here's the very funny thing that I want to share with all of you. A lot of people think they need to have gray hair, or they need to have been born with a silver spoon in their mouth, or they need to have a track record. When I launched my oil company, I was 23 years old, college dropout, and I didn't know the first thing about drilling an oil well or managing a multi-million-dollar business. I was just a cocky little kid who had worked for another oil company, getting on the telephone, calling high net worth individuals, investors, convincing them to send the company that I was working for at the time money. And I said to myself, I can do this. And so I went, printed up some letterhead, printed up some business cards. I found a securities attorney, found myself a geologist to go out and find a lease, put together my offering memorandum, and off we went. We started raising capital. And over the course of about 10 years, I built that up to a pretty nice size medium exploration company. You'll also see on the slide here that I am currently the author of 3 books. You can find all my books on Amazon. Working on book number 4 right now, which is really, really exciting. That 4th book is called The Blueprint for Your Better Self. But what really launched my career as a global speaker and as a global consultant was the book in the middle, On the Wings of Eagles, Learn How to Soar in Life. And in that book, I discuss something that we actually have trademarked called the art of beliefology. And it is the philosophy that your life is largely driven by your belief system, which basically are supported by your daily habits. Good habits create new beliefs. Beliefs foster reality, and the reality is ultimately the life we live. That book went to become a #1 read for young entrepreneurs on a major literary blog over in the United Kingdom. And from that, things just kind of snowballed. Started getting on radio shows, started getting booked on podcasts, started getting invited to be speaking on big stages. And then, of course, after that, we came out with the other books as well, Winning at the Capital Game, that's focused on how to raise capital from investors. And then, of course, if you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, the most recent book, which is Put Some Thrive in Your Hive, Unlocking Potential in Any Organization. Now, like I said earlier, the money that I have raised, a little over $2 billion, has not been all raised by me. A lot of it has, certainly in the hundreds and hundreds of millions. But the bulk of this money has actually been raised by teams. And what I will share with you tonight is that in order to raise capital, lots and lots of capital, you have to understand that it is a team sport. Okay? It's grudgery, it's hard work. You got to pick up the phone. You got to be scheduling calls and meetings with potential investors, moving them through a process of an introductory call to a follow-up call to perhaps what you might call a presentation, or we call it a pitch. You're pitching your deal, to answering questions, and then obviously closing and asking that investor whether they want to move forward and become a partner and invest, or of course, whether they choose not to. But you can see some of the big global companies where I was head of capital markets, firms like ING and Allianz at the time, the #2 and #3 global financial services company, huge real estate firms like Blue Rock and Waypoint. These guys manage portfolios in the multiple billions of dollars. And what I will share with you is it doesn't matter whether you're new to raising capital or whether you have a little bit of experience under your belt, you're somewhat seasoned, or whether you're very experienced, is I can help you get to that next level. If you're new, I can show you how to get started. If you've already raised capital, I can show you how to get to that next rung on the ladder. That next rung on the ladder might be family offices, might be learning how to build distribution through broker dealers and accessing Wall Street, might be accessing sovereign wealth funds and raising capital from the wealth of foreign nations. I've done that as well. Institutions like insurance companies, pensions, and trusts. And so I have companies today that are billion-dollar companies that retain me as a consultant to come in to show them how to raise money institutionally. But then I also have people that are just getting started, that are beginners, that are taking those baby steps, showing them how to put together their pitch deck, showing them how to build lead generation, showing them how to create a funnel. So it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're new or whether you're experienced, we can help you because, as I like to say, we're a one-stop shop and have everything from A to Z for people that want to source and raise capital. The other thing is that I currently coach and mentor people in about 28 countries today. I've spoken around the world on podcasts, radio shows, stages much like this. Was up in Toronto earlier this year with Clay. I think you heard from Clay earlier, and spoke on the largest real estate event stage there in front of about 3,000 people with Jordan Belfort, Robert Herjavec from Shark Tank, Elena Cardone. It was absolutely fantastic. So if you're dialing in to this webinar today, and you happen to be in a foreign country, maybe you're in Canada, maybe you're joining us from a foreign country like Australia, New Zealand, because the internet's an amazing thing. I don't want you to think at all that this is not for you. It most definitely is. You see, the concepts and the framework for raising capital are largely the same anywhere in the world. Meaning, it's just a matter of talking to people. It's a matter of moving people forward through a series of steps. Okay? You hear me talk about concepts like the 4-step blueprint. Now, the 4-step blueprint's not a script, it's more an outline. So that in every interaction with the potential investor, you know exactly what it is you're trying to accomplish. Kind of like a football team, moving that football into the end zone. First call, you know exactly what you're trying to do with that person. Second call, third call, you're pitching. And I combine that with something else called the trust sequence, because I think most people here realize very few people are going to actually invest with you without trust. But the trust sequence are 6 steps to build trust with another person. The very first step starts with perception. When people meet you, whether it's on a Zoom, whether it's in person, whether it's face-to-face, they are largely sizing you up. And in the first 30 seconds, they're deciding whether there will ever be a second date. So what does your website say about you? What do your presentation materials have to say about you? Are they printed in color? Are they in a nice spiral with a nice translucent cover? Or did you go the cheap route, print them off in black and white, put a little staple in the corner? You see, it's all perception, right? So what we do here at Capital School is we guide people, we hold their hand, and we teach them how to go out in the world and attract investor interest, how to raise capital so that they can take that big idea or that dream that they have and reshape that and turn it into something that becomes a reality. Now, I want to go back many years to my days in the oil field and talk about something that was a dramatic shift and a traumatic game changer. You see, most people that start the process of raising money start doing it either themselves or they start doing it with a very small team of people. And they start calling on what we refer to as retail investors or high net worth investors. These people are doctors, business owners, entrepreneurs, professionals. They make 6 figures. They might have a net worth of $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. And so they can comfortably invest $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 with you. What changed my life and changed my focus as it relates to raising capital is something that I want to share with you tonight. And it's a big concept. It's called marketing to the one to get to the masses. Okay. You see, when I was in the oil business, I had a friend, and this friend was a small, kind of a boutique-ish registered investment advisor. And one day he called me and he said, "Hey, Brad, I've been watching you from the sidelines. And I know you're doing really well because you're driving a nice car, you live in a beautiful home, you got a nice office. And I think what you're doing might be very suitable for some of the clients whose money I manage." I said, "Great." So I suggested that we meet for lunch, which we did. And over the course of a couple of weeks, he did what we call due diligence, meaning he vetted me and made sure that I was doing things the right way, because if he was going to place any of the capital from his investors with me, he wanted to make sure that I was legit, above board, honest, etc. So after a couple weeks, we finally got to a point where he said, "I think I've done enough due diligence. I feel comfortable." He said, "What I would like to propose is, why don't we do a small event?" He said, "Let me get 12 to 15 of my better high net worth clients together, Brad, and you come in alongside me and, you give a nice presentation and I'll do all the work. I'll do the follow-up. I'll meet with each family. We'll figure out how much each family would like to place with you." And I said, "That sounds great. Let's serve some wine. We'll make it at a nice venue. We'll get some appetizers and hors d'oeuvres." And so we did just this one thing. We hosted what I would call a little investor meetup. And in the 2 weeks after that event, he sent me $2.5 million. And a little light bulb went off. And so I got my team together and I said, "Hey guys, we've been over here fishing in a real spawn pond catching minnows. I just landed a blue marlin, and out in the world, there's a whole bunch more blue marlins just like him. And so we got to rethink our strategy." And so, like it says on the slide here, it dawned on me one day that what I needed to do was not work harder, not make more calls, not put more hours into my workday. I just needed to work smarter. You see, what I needed to do was leverage the help of other people that had the relationships with the high net worth families, the high net worth community, the high net worth households that I was trying to get in front of. And so me and my team started calling on registered investment advisors, CPAs, attorneys, because all these people have relationships with some of the wealthiest families in our communities. And once they get to know, like, and trust us, in many cases, they will open up their network. They will put us front and center. And so that's what took my capital raising to a whole nother level. And literally in about 12 months, I was able to raise 5 times as much capital deploying this strategy than I had raised in the prior 12 months. Does that logically make sense to everybody? Market to the one to get in front of the masses. Why? Because they have the relationships with everybody that we are trying to naturally get in front of. So let's take a look at this and break it down. Why does it logically make sense to build distribution for your capital raise? Could be a fund, could be a small little offering, could be a small little raise. Maybe all you need to do is raise a couple $100,000 to go in and renovate a couple small rental properties. Maybe you want to graduate from single family and start doing bigger deals and get into multifamily. Maybe that first multifamily property is a 6-unit, maybe an 8-unit property, so that you're not getting out over the end of your skis. You're not doing something so overwhelming that it scares you, but at the same time, you're graduating. You're saying to yourself, "Hey, I've done this. It's time for me to do more." And to do that more requires more capital. But the very first reason that it makes sense is that these people are licensed professionals. So they're going to help you maintain compliance. They're going to help you establish good business practices. Okay, if you want to pay a commission, you can now legally do that, because to pay a commission or a percentage of what's raised. The other party needs to be a broker dealer, right? The second reason is they're going to help you do a better job of what we call due diligence. They know how those investors think because they've got those relationships. So they'll sit you down and they'll say, hey, looking at your pitch deck or looking at your presentation, there's a couple missing elements. These are things that I would touch on or that I would talk about if it were me giving the presentation. So they're going to help you do a better job. The third reason, and certainly the biggest, is they can introduce you to high net worth investors. They have clients, and all of their clients are rich, wealthy people. And I just love that because they will open that network by you going to them and saying, hey, Richard, who are you connected with that we should also be speaking to? And hopefully Richard says, well, I've got a whole bunch of people here. Let's do another event. And so if you can get these people to know, like, and trust you, it's not out of the ordinary for them to do an event with you maybe every 6 to 8 weeks. So now you got a pipeline of activity. You've got this pipeline of people that you're actively talking to. That's how you can scale and literally go raise millions of dollars. And then the very last one, which is the most exciting of all, is you can now legally build a very small sales team to help you go out and scale your capital raising business. Just like Napoleon Hill writes about in his book, right? It's the law of large numbers. When you as a business owner can take a very small percentage off the efforts of a large number of people, the overall benefit is far greater than you getting 100% of your own individual efforts, because now you're leveraging the help of others. And that's how you scale. So let's take a look at this. According to some statistics, the average financial advisor today manages about $180 million. So if you were to look at a parabola, little bell curve right in the center, the average would be about 180 million, which means that there are some that manage a lot more, right? There are some RIAs and advisors that might manage 300 million, 600 million, some big firms well over $1 billion. And then, of course, there are some that are a little smaller. But I want you to, in your mind, think about this. If I can teach you over the next 12 to 18 months how to identify and how to build relationships with just 25 financial advisors in your geographic area that come to you and just say, now that I know you, now that I like you, now that I trust you, I can see myself allocating 2% or maybe 3% of my client's portfolio, which is not a lot of money. It's money that we can afford to lose. It's money that we can afford to invest. Take a look at the numbers at the very bottom. At just a 2% allocation, that's $75 million over the next 12 months. If they invest just 3%, it's $112,500,000. That's a big, huge number. You see, now, to many of you, you're starting to realize, hopefully up here, that going out in the world and just raising maybe 1 million, maybe 2 or 5 million is not out of the realm of possibility. Because when you start talking to people and you start realizing this person will give me 50, and this person over here might be able to give me 100, that's 150. And I got this other person that might give me 75, that's now 2.25. For many of you here, that's life-changing money. See, that gives you the ability to go out and do what? Maybe flip 2 or 3 or 4 houses, split the proceeds on the back end with an investor, where now you're putting cash away, you're stockpiling money in a bank, you're building a nice nest egg, paying off your bills. You see, it doesn't take a lot, folks. It literally just takes a small handful of people where you master the skill, this one skill that Robert Kiyosaki writes about in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, called leveraging OPM, other people's money. That's how you build legacy wealth. And then all you do is you just repeat the process. as I like to say, you go long in the same direction and you just do it for a long period of time. So let me show you what this can actually add up to with a couple of case studies. I was hired by a gentleman that wanted to start a real estate company. Okay. He was an entrepreneur. This was a brand new startup, meaning they had no track record. Okay. He hired me and he said, "Hey, I'm hiring you. I'm betting on the jockey, not the horse. You've done this before, Brett. I want you to come in. And I want to build a real estate private equity firm." I said, "Great." I said, "You want to do this the hard way by picking up the phone and hosting events and reaching out to high net worth individuals, or you want to do it the easy way and the proven way?" He said, I like your way. That's why you're here. I said, "What we're going to do is we're going to target broker dealers. We're going to focus on building relationships with small boutique registered investment advisory firms. And we're going to divide the country into just 3 regions. Remember what I said a couple slides ago? You could build a sales team. So what I did is I put an ad in the paper and I hired someone in Florida and I hired someone out on the West Coast. And so we had 3 geographic regions in the country and I took the middle because I'm in Texas. And every day, all we were doing is we were picking up the phone, calling out to small, very small RIAs to build that relationship, to send them our materials, to get them to know, like, and trust us. And so we started building these relationships. We got people to take our fund, take our deal, and start to share it with the investors and the clients in the firms that they have built. And take a look at the very bottom. In the first 12 months, as a brand new startup company with just 2 other people, we were able to raise $185 million just with these small little RIAs. And there was a third-party company that tracked all of the money that was raised from investment sponsors, and we were the #1 sponsor in the 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter in 2006 for new capital raise using this very strategy that I'm talking about with you here today. And I did it again for a second company. So this company, same thing. They hired me because of my track record. I came in, brand new startup, meaning they had no prior track record to talk about. This guy who's a CEO just said, "Hey man, I want to start a real estate firm." Great. Hire Brad Blazar. Brad Blazar came in, did exactly the same thing. Again, focused on small, mid-sized RIAs. Hired 1 other person out of Kentucky. So there was only 2 of us, just me and him. And you can see at the bottom, in the first year, we raised well over $110 million. Both of these companies today manage multiple billion-dollar portfolios. You can see here, Waypoint Residential, over 35,000 apartment units in communities all across the country, multiple offices. The only difference between many of you and them is they've just been doing it for a long time. But it's the same strategy. It's the same system. And more importantly, it's one that I can teach anybody how to do, just like the thousands of people that I've touched and trained all around the world. And so the message to all of you is to raise tons of money. All you have to do is you have to shift your focus. You don't have to work any harder. You just have to leverage the help of others and shift your focus and realize that you can 3x, you can 5x the amount of money that you raise by soliciting the help of other people that already have the relationships with the wealthy people that you're trying to meet. Now, a lot of you here are probably just brand new to this. Who's brand new to raising capital? I mean, you've never done this before, but you're thinking this might be something you want to do. If it is, just put a Y in the chat for me. If you want to raise capital to be doing something bigger in life, and you've never raised it before, just put a Y in the chat so I know who I'm talking with here. Because I want to invite you to go deeper with me. I want to make an offer to you. And what that offer is to teach you how to leverage other people. because you can only raise so much capital by yourself. You can't do this all on your own. Well, hang on for a second. You have to leverage the help of other people. So in order to do this, what I want to do is I want to show you a system. I want to teach you how to do this. I want to give you the tools and resources that I have personally used to actually go out and do this and actually provide to you the blueprint. Because I've been seen on some of the biggest podcasts around the world, like Bridger Pennington over here. There's a lot of people who watch his show at Fun Lunch, okay, who want to become better capital raisers. That's why he brought me on. He considers me to be one of the world's foremost experts on this. Kevin Harrington, Shark Tank. He was a speaker at my event. We did a big event a couple of years ago. He was one of my keynote speakers. And so we brought Kevin Harrington in. And he basically said, look, Brad Blazar is the real deal. This guy really knows how to go out in the world and actually attract and raise capital. Robert Herjavec, okay, shared the stage with Robert Herjavec just about 6 weeks ago up in Toronto, as well as Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, Elena Cardone, married to Grant Cardone. Most of you here probably know who Grant Cardone is, right? And so how we help people raise capital is through a proven system, a proven blueprint that has been battle tested, has been time tested. And what I will tell you is if you want to take me up on this offer, I guarantee it will work if you work the system. Okay? Guarantee it will work if you work the system. Now, how can I make a claim like that? Well, let me share a story with you. Many years ago, when I was in the oil business, I was looking to hire up a team of salespeople. And so I was running ads in the local newspaper. This was, of course, before the internet. And one day a guy shows up for an interview. And my office building is in a very prestigious tower in downtown Austin, Texas. Every company and everybody in this building is largely a professional, meaning suits and ties, or at least business attire. And this guy comes showing up for a job interview looking like Joe Dirt. Jeans that had holes in the knees, a flannel shirt, okay, work boots that were covered in dust and mud, a Fu Manchu mustache, and a mullet for a haircut. And when I say look like Joe Dirt, he sure the hell did look pretty much like Joe Dirt. Now, for most people, the interview would have ended at the front door, but it did not end at the door for him. I invited him in. I was very cordial, sat him down at my conference table, got him a cup of coffee, and after about a 30-minute interview, I said, Jack, why do you want to come work here for me? And his answer pierced my heart like an arrow, and it gave that young man the opportunity of a lifetime. His answer was, Mr. Blazar, as you can see, I'm a pretty simple guy, and I apologize for showing up dressed like this. I thought I was interviewing to actually go out and work in the oil patch, not in an office. But he said, my wife and daughter have much bigger dreams in life than I do, and I just want to be given everything in life that those two ladies deserve and desire. And I said, wow, this guy would do just about anything that I asked of him because of the two women he loved more than anything else. And I said, if you can be back here come Monday morning, I'll put you to work. So he came back Monday morning after seeing The Office. But he showed up dressed exactly like he did the week before. I don't think he owned a suit. I don't think he had any professional attire. And so I'm looking at this guy across the table saying to myself, Brad, maybe you really made a mistake on this guy. How is he going to get on a phone and get people to send him checks for $50,000 and $100,000? You see, I was already questioning me. I wasn't questioning him. And so I gave him the script. I spent a couple days role playing. And in that year, he raised $25 million and earned $250,000 in commission. Because what I did the first day on the job is I took him in my sports car to a department store and invested in his future by treating him to 2 suits and taking him to my barber and giving him a Hollywood makeover And so the next day when he came in, he had what we call swag. Y'all know what some swag is? He felt good. He felt like a different person. And so he started thinking differently. And by thinking differently and understanding the concepts and incorporating these into his daily conversations, he was able to raise $25 million. And so I want to give you the same tools that I gave to him. What I'm going to show you is how we build trust with other people. Okay, I'm going to give you my 6-step sequence. I'm going to teach you something that's very powerful. It's called the validation phrase. One sentence that, if said properly, will tell you that the other person is ready to receive your big idea, and that subconsciously they trust you enough to move forward in the process, so that you're avoiding the biggest mistake that most people make that try to raise capital. And that is they pitch the idea or they pitch the investment too early before the person's actually ready. So we want to help you prevent that. We're going to teach you everything you need to know about SEC laws, rules, and regulations. Going to show you how to put together a one-page fund summary, a teaser, a pitch deck. Going to give you my $1 million pitch blueprint and outline. And then I'm also going to give you a list of over 600 family offices with contact information and data, names, emails, all of those different things. And this is what we call our Capital School Vault. This is an online platform where I've taken over 40 years of knowledge, okay? I've codified that into all these different concepts, and it is available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I'm going to give it to you for the rest of your life. And the reason that I provide lifetime access is it's very important to me and my team to be a strategic partner and be a strategic resource. But in addition to giving you access to my Capital School Vault, I'm also going to offer you 2 calls every single week for the next year. Every Tuesday and Thursday. These are my coaching calls where I go live. I'm answering questions. I'm role playing, bringing in industry experts. And I'm also going to give you access to my Facebook group. So inside that Facebook group, what you're going to get access to is you're going to get access to basically everything that I have. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put that link right here in the chat. And all you got to do is you got to click on that link. And the Capital School Vault is priced at just $67. So for $67, you get all my secrets. You get access to me twice a week on a call. You get a list of over 600 family offices with names, emails, phone numbers, addresses, contacts, all of those different things. The question is, why would I be insane enough to give all of that away for $67? It's because I want to help people. It's like I said at the very beginning of this webinar. It's my belief that everybody in the world has a desire, a dream, a goal to be doing more. And I've already done it. And I can't tell you how it makes me feel when I get messages, when I get text, when I get emails from people that have never raised a dime that finally get that first investor and realize that that dream or that goal or that something big that they've always wanted to do is actually now within their sights. Sometimes for many people, it's just 2 or 3 more investors because they don't need to raise millions. They just need to raise a few $100,000. For those people that need to raise a little bit more, it just means a little bit more effort, just a few more phone calls, few more meetups. But what I will tell you is if I can treat a guy like Joe Dirt named Jack how to raise $25 million, I can teach anybody here that has the dream and the desire to get started. Richard, I want to thank you so much for inviting me tonight. It's been great. I always love to show up at these events and add value. Now, for anybody that would also like a free copy of my book, Winning at the Capital Game, you can see the cover right here over my shoulder. I will personally sign and mail out to anybody here a free courtesy copy of that. And all you have to do is just send an email to us. I'm putting my email here in the chat. It's info@bradblazar.com. Just make sure you spell my name with no E's, just like it is behind me on the wall, Blazar, Brad Blazar. If you just send me an email that says, I want the book, give me your name and a place to ship it, it will go out first thing tomorrow morning. That is my gift to anybody here that wants that, for showing up and investing in yourself tonight. I always like to add value and give back to the events that I participate in. So that is my gift to all of you here. If you like a free copy of that, just shoot us your name and an address to send that to, and it'll actually be shipped out to you tomorrow. Richard, thanks again, my friend. It's been great.
Thank you so much, Brad. Honestly, you are a man of value. I will say that. And another thing I will say is that you're a person that's available. As we've been reaching out, you've been connecting with us, and and that just shows that that's just a piece of what you have to offer. So I'm definitely taking you up on those offers with the book and that little start program that you have, and we'll see where we go from there. But anyone here, that's what we're doing these sessions for, so that we could all grow and develop. So I just want to open it up to a few questions, if there are any questions before our Brad signs off.
Love to. I'll stick around for a little bit if anybody has any questions. You bet.
I think
Brad, thank you so much for coming on and sharing this wealth of knowledge. One of the things that I actually kind of manifested into existence is to spend more time with people that are over way beyond their years in terms of business, and this is really working for me, being connected with people that are so well versed in business and truly understand the capital raising side. And I really appreciate that. I've been raising capital in my business in a small degree compared to what you've done, for sure. And it's been a journey and quite a privilege to be trusted. And honestly, it's been an amazing journey. And once you get started, you can never go back, because the best way to do it is really making money from other people's money. And once you truly learn that, I think that's the most valuable experience. And then being in the real estate side of it, it even demonstrates that money is the only variable that's actually replaceable, that if you actually have the skills to be able to redeploy that asset, or even go through the due diligence process and prospecting your colleagues, right, or any other investors that believe in other asset classes. Collaboration is really a big thing in the market, and being able to share those information. And it's truly I really appreciate the information, because I do feel other than on the real estate aspect, a lot of people might want to diversify their portfolio in some way, shape, or another, whether it's through a syndication themselves or being able to deploy their own assets, or they're just like me as well. It's very important to go through these stages of due diligence and building that trust process, right? And kind of understanding those steps. So I really want to emphasize and thank you and sharing that to everybody. I don't really have any questions other than pure admiration and a gratitude of you being here. And we hope that if you are ever back in Canada, we'll dinner's on me, whatever.
I'll actually be there this weekend. I'm actually flying to Toronto on Friday. I'll be doing a boot camp in Toronto on Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, if you are interested, we're doing it at the Toronto Metropolitan University, and I'm actually partnering with Seth Ferguson, who, of course, is the organizer of the multifamily conference, the largest real estate event held annually, where I was, of course, a speaker there. But we're actually doing it this weekend on the 20th and the 21st. And so we'd love to have anybody there show up. It's going to start on Saturday morning at about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and we'll go a full day on Saturday and most of the day on Sunday. But if you want to meet in person, we'll have all my books. I'll have a couple team members there, and Seth and I are really going to go very deep in this whole very subject of, how you can leverage other people's money. Because here's the thing, most people go through life exchanging their time for money. Okay. That's what we're taught. We're taught to go out and do what? Get a job, get a career, get a vocation. And in doing this, we're exchanging our time for a paycheck. Now, if you can understand this very important concept of getting other people's money to start investing in assets, right? Things that generate passive income like real estate or maybe a business, where you get to the point where you now have enough passive income to cover your essential living expenses. Now you're at a place in life where you've got much greater freedom and choices, because now you don't need that job. You see, now you've got passive income, maybe from a couple of small rental properties, or maybe from a business or two businesses, where you can say, hey, I no longer need to be exchanging my time for money. My passive income puts a roof over my head. My passive income puts gas in my car. Passive income puts food on my table. And it's amazing. I know people literally that make $50,000, $100,000 a month or more in just passive income. You don't have to work. And that's something that's available to everybody here. And what I want you all to realize is it does not take a lifetime to get there. It just takes a decision. You see, it just takes a decision to wake up one day with a different mindset and say, today is the day that I put my amateurish ways beside me and I go pro in all areas of my life, and I start following the people like Brad and others to learn what it is they did so I can do it too. Because all you got to do is just walk in our shoes. We've created the blueprint. We've created the framework. And if you're willing to put in the effort and you're willing to learn, it's simple. We got so many testimonials. You can go to my website and just watch one after another of all of these people that just made that simple decision. So thank you so much for that great compliment. I appreciate that.
Brad, I have a question as well, right? Because I do know people who have like different businesses and different things that, you know, ideals, whether it's real estate, and they are looking to raise some capital, right? But what are the key things that investors are looking for, right? Because I'm saying, like, let's say it's a business, right, and it does have the potential, right? But let's say, you know, that you can't really guarantee returns on it. Like, are those key things that they're looking for? Like, what are the key things that investors are looking for?
That's a great question. The simple answer is what Robert Herjavec said when he was on stage a couple of weeks ago. He said, I don't invest in the horse, I invest in the jockey. So realize what people are investing in is you. But it's a little bit deeper than that, right? Most of us here have watched the TV show Shark Tank. And so, you know, we've seen lots of people get up on the tank. And they're smart, you know, they're doctors, they're business owners, they're engineers, but a lot of times they do not get a deal. The number one thing that you need to focus on when you're trying to raise capital comes down to one word. That word is execute. Can you convince me as an investor that you can execute on whatever it is you're trying to do? It's that simple. See, if I believe, Richard, that you can do what you're telling me you want to do, why would I not invest money with you? Right? But here's the secret. A lot of you here are what we call solopreneurs, meaning it's just you. You're spinning all the plates in your business. You're doing everything. And I get that. But the way that you convince an investor that you can execute is you build a team. Just like I did when I was in the oil business. You see, I had never drilled an oil well, but I got a team behind me. I had an attorney, had a CPA.
Every time you're giving the gems, the internet, I guess technology. I guess we win over technology. Okay, I think is he back in there? Brad, you're here. You barely
That might
hear you. You're
help.
cutting up. Oh, Brad.
The internet connection.
Hello. I can hear you pieces.
Did everybody hear what I'm saying there?
Yeah, you're cutting in and out. You're cutting in and out. Guys, Brad was giving a lot of knowledge. As he mentioned, he has his book out there. He has a little offer that he gave as well, and as well as all of our other speakers from today. Everyone made an offer. And it's for you to go out and get more knowledge. Go get more knowledge. So I really ask you to scroll back up, see the links that are there. And take everyone up for their offer, right? Because we're all just here to grow with each other. We're going to be sending a post email as well, with everyone's offers in there as well, right? And forward it out to your friends and your family and let them know the time that you had here. Let them know the experience that you had during this session. Invest for cash flow, as we want this to be a monthly thing. And then, as upon Eve's request, we're going to do it in person, so we got to meet everyone, face by face, shaking hands, and everything like that. But I think Brad being on here, his connection was there, but hey, he reached out right away, so I'm sure we'll get him again on another session, and as well as all of our other hosts and everyone that stayed till now. We went a little bit over time, but hopefully it was well worth it. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for being on this session. We appreciate you. God bless you, and much success. Moving forward. Yeah, go get multiple sources of income, get some assets under you, get the flow. In these times is when you actually open up, be the best that you can be. So, and I see everyone's been here till the very end. So you are the best, so thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night, have a great week, and have a great year. God bless. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys for joining. Appreciate everyone for being on board.
Bye, Richard.
Bye. Tell a friend next time too. Get your friends, get your people, the people you love, get them on these sessions. Let everyone get this information so we all could win together. All right, I'm out.